I have died 998 times, and every single time, the world burned with me. Demons in the sky, monsters on the ground. The ending never changed. A different weapon in every life. A different body, a different war. But I always ended up standing in the same burning ruins, making the same promise. I would find a way. The hourglass flipped, and everything went dark. When I opened my eyes, sunlight hit my face and a girl was smiling at me. My 999th life had just begun. Two girls whispered behind me. That's Chen Yan, top of the class, total bookworm. His parents fought in the monster wars, one of them said. But the hero's son can't even hold a weapon. I kept walking. I had heard worse in other lives. Then the ground cracked open with purple light. Teacher Qian dropped to her knees. The energy was pouring out of me. Principal Gao, she shouted. The old man came running with a student close behind. A massive fist made of red fire formed above the school, cracking the sky with lightning. Then golden light poured down and wrapped around my entire body. Floating panels appeared all around me. I had awakened as a Forge Master, a special support class. But these numbers were strange. Success rate 0.1%, but it stacks forever and nothing I forge can break. In theory that means 100%. An SSS-Rank Forge Master, Principal Gao said, smiling wide. He put a hand on my shoulder. Forge strong equipment, and you could earn a recommendation to one of the 4 elite universities. Somewhere across the city, in a room that smelled like money, someone was having their nails painted. A tall man in a tailored suit presented a row of student profiles. The best in the city, all A rank or higher. Take your pick. The young master on the couch barely looked up. Him, Murunglan said, pointing at a gold-lit card. I like gold. The card he chose read, Chen Yan, age 18, SSS-Rank Divine Forge Master. Who he is doesn't matter, Murunglan said. I just need his spot so I can pick whichever school I want. In another room, Principal Gao bowed low with one hand on his chest. He will never make the recommendation list. He stood in the Murong family's office, surrounded by bodyguards, bowing like a servant. I already erased his class records. And he's an orphan, the steward said, leaning back. Even if we take his spot, no one will speak for him. Of course we won't be cruel about it, the steward added. Being chosen by our young master is already his good fortune. That is when I pushed both doors open. The principal spun around, and the color drained from his face. You sold my recommendation, I said, walking straight toward him. The Murong family has noble blood, he stammered. They are the biggest clan in this whole city. Being noticed by young Master Murong is an honor for someone like you, he said with a thin grin. So you took my future, and expect me to say thank you. This is for your own good, the principal said, keeping his distance. A Forge Master needs huge resources to grow, he went on, palms spread wide. You're an orphan, even at a top school. Without money, you'd be nothing. Every time I am reborn, the details change. But certain people are rotten in every single life. This principal, these smirking men in the shadows, I had met their kind 900 times before. The steward waved his hand. Enough talking, you just want money, right? A metal suitcase hit the floor and popped open. 3 million, scattered across the tiles. I looked down at the money, not interested. I left the building. Teacher Qian caught up with me in the hallway. Chen Yan, are you all right? Your face looks terrible. If the recommendation falls through, I asked, can I still take the entrance exam? Her eyes went wide. Falls through? That shouldn't happen. You should be a lock for the recommendation. A Forge Master can't fight monsters alone, she said quietly. Without a recommendation, you'd have to join a team and level up so slowly. Shengyuan University, I said. First condition is level 15, correct? She stared at me. You want to test into Shengyuan? She grabbed my arm. I know you want your pride back, but a Forge Master, with no support. Let me fight for your recommendation, she said, eyes steady on mine. I will find a way. Just register me for the exam, Teacher Qian. I turned and walked down the hall. I will reach level 15 before the deadline. The Ruins Instance, a beginner dungeon. The entrance town was packed with players trading weapons and shouting prices. I pulled a dark cloak over my shoulders and slipped into the back streets. The mask fit well. Nobody here needed to know who I was. 999 lives. And this is where I start rewriting the story. Inside a small forge shop, I sat down with a hammer in my hands. I offered free weapon upgrades, no charge, just bring the materials. Then a luxury car came tearing through the cobblestone streets. People jumped to the side. Murong Lan stepped out, shielding his eyes from the sun. Why do I have to come to this place myself? His 2 servants followed close behind. Your father says you must reach level 5 today, young master. You've been recommended to Shengyuan, the big one reminded him. But your level still needs to keep up. And he wants you to break the dungeon speed record while you're here, the other servant added. Murong Lan slid his sunglasses on. That's your job, not mine. I just collect the experience. The 3 of them strolled through town, one carrying his cape, another holding an umbrella over his head. Back in his office, the Murong steward watched through a screen. 2 level 15 guards in a beginner dungeon. Classic Murong family. I tightened my grip on the forging hammer. If they wanted to play games with my future, then I would use them to test my new power. I needed real targets, and they just walked right to me. The best way to deal with the Murong family was to make them lose so badly they could never recover. What are we waiting for? Murong Lan snapped at his guards. Move. His bodyguard shoved players aside. Make way. Young Master Murong is coming through. A girl with pink hair spun around. Wait, is that the Murong Lan? I heard he got recommended to Shengyuan University, she gasped. Third son of the Murong family, her companion added. Noble blood. A fighter in dark armor crossed his arms. 2 high-level guards in a beginner dungeon? That steals all the experience from the rest of us. But nobody stopped them. Murong Lan's group walked straight toward the dungeon gate without slowing down. Minutes later, a warrior stumbled out of the dungeon, barely on his feet. My gear is wrecked, he groaned. Couldn't beat the final boss, all that experience gone. The warrior's teammate caught up to him outside the dungeon. We lost too much in there, experience, materials, all of it. We should save up and upgrade our gear, the mage said. Otherwise we'll never keep up. Before they could decide, someone came tumbling across the cobblestones, knocked aside by the crowd, and there behind the dust was Murong Lan, sunglasses on, grinning. He knew the warrior. Liang, I almost didn't recognize you. He blocked Liang's path. His 2 guards stood behind him like a wall. Good dogs stay off the road, Murong Lan said, waving his hand like he was shooing a fly. Liang froze. Wait a second. Are you insane? He shouted. You break the dungeon record and the rest of us can't level up. Murong Lan lowered his sunglasses. If you're too weak to earn better rewards, that sounds like your fault, not mine. He straightened his collar and smiled. This dungeon belongs to me today. Liang's eye twitched. Since when do I have to listen to you? This dungeon doesn't belong to your family, Liang said, turning away. Come on, let's go. Murong Lan's smile vanished. His guard stepped forward and pointed at Liang. The guard swung his blade before anyone could blink, and sent Liang's sword flying out of his hands. Murong Lan pointed at Liang and laughed. Look at you now, Murong Lan said, hands on his hips. You don't even have a weapon. Honestly, you should thank me. That garbage sword would have gotten your team killed. Your guards caused the damage in there, Liang snapped, and you know it. Murong Lan turned away from Liang and looked at his teammates instead. All 4 of them stood together, the healer, the mage, and 2 others. Don't even think about it, the healer snapped, gripping her staff tight. Murong Lan's servant pulled out a thick stack of cash. Don't say no so fast. Murong Lan walked closer, boots clicking on the stone. Just leave his team. And all of this is yours, he said, tossing the money. The healer screamed at them to refuse. She picked up a rock and threw it. But 2 of Liang's teammates were already on their knees, picking bills off the ground with big smiles. The healer and the mage stared at them, unable to believe what they were seeing. The fighter turned to Murong Lan with a little bow. This way, young master. I know this dungeon well, the fighter told Murong Lan, waving goodbye to Liang like it was nothing. Why struggle with dungeons? The dark-haired girl called back. Following young Master Murong is the real future. She was already looking at Murong Lan with stars in her eyes. Murong Lan laughed and walked away, his new followers right behind him. But he stopped, turned around and looked at Liang one more time, just to enjoy the view. 3 people left. Liang, the mage, and the healer. 5-2, the mage said quietly. How do we run a dungeon like this? Liang grabbed his broken sword, knuckles white, shaking with anger. He drove the blade straight into the stone and left it there. That was my signal. I walked out of the forge, hammer in one hand, and headed straight for them. I pulled the broken sword from the ground and held it up. This blade, do you still want it? Liang stared at me. Who are you? Someone who doesn't like the Murong family. He leaned in, suspicious. What do you want? I let a smile slip under the mask. I'm a forge master. I can repair this sword. No, I can make it stronger. Don't mess with me, Ling said. That blade is snapped in half. Do you want to beat Murong Lan, or not? His teammates looked at each other. Nobody was sure what to say. Of course I do, Liang said through his teeth. Then give me your materials. Materials? The healer blinked. You bring them, I forge for free. No charge at all. The mage leaned over and whispered to Liang. That sounds way too good. He might be lying. I let the grin show through the mask. I have a score to settle with the Murong family. Helping you fight them is the same as helping myself. I looked at all 3 of them. So want to take a chance? Ling stared at the dungeon gate in the distance. He had nothing left to lose anyway. His head dropped. The weight of the day was sitting on his shoulders. Then he looked up. The healer and the mage shared one last look. Then both nodded. Liang emptied everything he had. Crystals, stones, metal scraps into a pile at my feet. Wait, he said, frowning. All of this for just 1 upgrade. Behind me, the mage was whispering to the healer. I don't trust this. He's too young to be a real forge master. I heard every word. That was fine. They'd change their minds soon. A local blacksmith wandered over, rubbing his chin. With that much material, I could do 2 or 3 upgrades. He flashed a grin at Liang. Come to me instead. 1,000 per upgrade, 2 for a discount. Can you guarantee both upgrades succeed? I asked without looking at him. The blacksmith opened his mouth, then closed it. He couldn't. I raised the hammer, and fire roared through the forge. Liang held out his broken sword with both hands. Forge master, please. I'm counting on you. I set the blade on the anvil. The fire was already burning hot. My SSS-Rank hammer activated, 100% success rate, guaranteed special traits. The system did not lie. What came out of the fire was not a broken sword anymore, Red steel, wrapped in flame, burning with a power it never had before. I held it out. Lang grabbed the hilt and his jaw dropped. Rare traits. Area damage. Bonus combat skills. Stats that had no business being on a beginner weapon. This was really just one upgrade. Behind us, someone shouted from the crowd. Who is that masked Forge Master? The pink-haired girl was bouncing on her feet. Special traits from one upgrade, that's impossible. The local blacksmith just stood there, mouth open, frozen solid. Leon grinned and raised his new red blade. I'm going after Murong Lan right now. Wait, I said. He stopped and looked back. Don't tell anyone I did this for you. Not a word. Why not? The healer asked, confused. I have my reasons. You don't need to understand them. Just remember one thing. Take that sword and make Murong Lan regret today. Liang's face hardened. Understood. I watched them head toward the dungeon and stepped back into the shadows. My forging skill, drop share, was active. Any experience and materials they earn from killing monsters with my weapon come straight back to me. They do the fighting, I collect the rewards. The best kind of arrangement. Far from the dungeon town, in Principal Gao's office, the Murong steward slapped a sheet of paper across the desk. What is the meaning of this? The steward demanded from the doorway. Gao scrambled to pick it up from the floor. His stomach dropped. Chen Yan had registered for the university entrance exam. His fingers tightened on the paper. Someone helped him, the steward snapped, pointing. The exam list has already been submitted. Is this what you call taken care of? Gao held the form up quickly, forcing a nervous smile. Please, don't be angry. He applied for Shengyuan University, Gao said. But Chen Yan is only a forge master. He doesn't stand a chance. Gao leaned back in his chair, still grinning. 15 levels in 1 week. For a forge master, that's a joke. Even if he's SSS-Rank, Gao said. What difference does it make? What can a blacksmith do level up by hitting an anvil? Far from his office, sparks were already flying. The local blacksmith hammered away at his station while I sat nearby with nothing to do. He stopped and looked at me. Hey kid, out of work already? I sat by the fire, chin on my hand. Not a single customer all morning. He walked over, shaking his head. A forge master can't survive on one lucky break. I didn't answer. He kept talking, hammer on his shoulder, grinning like he knew everything. Don't think you can build a name by giving out free upgrades, he said. Nobody falls for that. Then the system woke up. Drop share. Activated. A golden notification filled my vision. Experience plus 100. Then another. The blacksmith spun around and pointed at me. How did you just level up while sitting there? His face twisted into something between shock and anger. He could not believe what he saw. Then it happened again. Another level up, glowing blue light around me, right in front of him. Sweat dripped down his face. Nobody levels up twice without lifting a finger. He narrowed his eyes. I've heard that some big families keep secret techniques hidden. More experience rolled in. Another 100, and I still hadn't moved from my chair. Is he some noble's kid playing blacksmith for fun? He muttered to himself, sweating harder. He leaned over my anvil, almost in my face. Young master, is this a family secret? I smiled with my chin in my hand. Let him believe whatever story he wanted. No family secrets, I said. My teammates just work very hard. And they did. Inside the dungeon, green energy was tearing through everything in sight. The healer and the mage walked through the dark streets of the dungeon, monsters scattering around them. The mage grinned as the little creatures ran. Playing with these monsters is way too fun. Liang raised the red sword high, and a ring of golden light formed above it. The special traits were already active. The weapon's stats floated in front of them. Guaranteed hit rate, area damage, all from a single upgrade. Group attack skills too. The healer's face lit up. We found the right person to trust. A sword that hits harder than my magic, the mage shouted. That's not even fair. Liang looked ahead. The final boss is just up there. He waved them forward with a confident grin. 3 people is more than enough. The 3 of them stood before a pillar of red light. The boss room was waiting. They marched forward together, boots hitting stone. Those 2 who left are going to hate themselves, the healer said, laughing. My class skill made the whole thing possible. Drop share, anyone who uses weapons I forge, sends their rewards back to me. Every kill they made was experience in my pocket. Every drop was mine too. Back at the forge, the blacksmith grabbed my arm. Please teach me. Leveling as a forge master is impossible. I'll trade you a magic crystal stone, he said, desperate. This was the same man who mocked me 10 minutes ago. Funny how fast respect shows up when it's needed. I tapped my chin. Actually, it's quite simple. I let the smile spread wide. Before I could say another word, he dropped to his knees. I'm F-rank, he said, head bowed. The lowest kind of forge master there is. My level won't go up. My rank is stuck. I can only make cheap gear on the street to survive. Please, he said. Help me. There was no pride left in his voice. I reached down and pulled him to his feet. You don't need to bow that low. I'll teach you. I picked up his hammer and showed him the right grip. This movement right here, I said, pointing. Twist your body just a bit more. He copied me exactly, holding the hammer high. Go to the main square and practice this every day, I told him. I held out my palm. Keep it up for 1 week. It will work. He pushed the purple crystal into my hands, shouting his thanks over and over. The crystal sat in my palm, heavy, warm, and glowing purple. He pressed his palms together and bowed. I'm heading to the square right now. The moment he left, the system spoke up. Rare material detected, can be used to upgrade a talent skill. The notification floated right next to the crystal. This was more useful than I thought. A real magic crystal stone. These things were worth a fortune. I watched the blacksmith jog down the street, still holding the crystal in my other hand. The truth was, I didn't have any secret technique. What I taught him was complete nonsense. But he believed every word. The system showed me my options. This crystal could upgrade dropshare right now. A dark memory pulled at me before I could decide. Red armor hitting the ground. A fight that was over before it started. Someone kneeling beside me, gripping my arm. I could hear my name being called through the smoke. My hand flat on the dirt, too weak to push myself up. The way had been a little stronger, he whispered. Could we have won? Above us, the Morong steward had laughed. Morong Lan standing beside him. You really thought you could fight our family? I shook off the memory and looked at the crystal. Sorry, old man, I need the power now. I'll pay you back later. The crystal shattered in a burst of light as I fed it to the system. The notification filled my vision. Drop share, upgraded. Power rushed through me. The share rate jumped from 100% to 200. Double rewards for every kill. The upgraded skill hit immediately. Notifications flooded in. Experience doubled. Materials doubled. People in the street stopped and stared at the light pouring off me. Inside another dungeon, monsters charged through burning streets. Murong Lan's team was running their own attempt. One of his fighters kicked a creature off its feet without breaking stride. Murong Lan stood behind them with a glass of wine. At this speed, how will you ever break the record? The blonde fighter, the one who had left Liang's team, lowered his head. Sorry, Master Murong. We'll go faster, he said. His voice had no confidence. Murong Lan watched from behind as his team threw everything they had at the remaining monsters. Their mage spun his staff and grinned. Breaking the record is easy. Our pace is close, the fighter beside him said. If we push through the boss, it should be enough. In the darkness ahead, something massive moved. The boss was waiting, but it was already too late for them. Liang's team had reached the boss first. Liang tightened his grip on the red blade. No hesitation. The healer and the mage stood behind him, steady and ready. He charged. The red sword burned as he rushed straight at the boss. The mage stood still, eyes closed. One hit. The 2% instant kill triggered. The boss is dead. An announcement lit up the sky above the town. Liang Sushanshan, Li Tigang, dungeon record broken. 46 minutes, 22 seconds. A man in the market stopped walking and looked up. The record was just broken? Liang walked out with Shanshan and Tigang, laughing and waving his hands. I was only dreaming about it, didn't think it would actually happen. In the streets, people gathered around the glowing scoreboard. How come Murong Lan didn't break it? Someone asked. He's still inside. Another man grinned. A group of complete newcomers beat the record. If Murong Lan finds out, he'll lose his mind. I leaned against the wall and let myself smile. 3 beginners. 1 sword. Upgraded only once. And they already owned the record. A red crystal appeared in my hand from the drop rewards. Rare materials delivered to me without lifting a finger. I held it up. Another rare drop already. Faster than I expected. Maybe I used that crystal too early. But it didn't matter. Getting more was not going to be a problem. Golden light gathered between my palms. Right now only one thing mattered. Level up as fast as possible. At the dungeon gate, Murong Lan's team finally came through. Murong Lan held up a hand mirror and admired himself. Stop wasting time. Start the next dungeon and get me to level 5. One of his teammates stopped. He stared at the announcement still hanging in the air. Wait, someone already broke the record. The 2 fighters stared at the scoreboard together, eyes wide. Liang's name was right there at the top, 7 or 8 minutes faster than them. Liang strolled through the village with a grin so wide it was almost asking for trouble. Murong Lan was waiting for him. Someone had stolen his record, and it showed on every part of his face. He'd brought his entire crew, 5 fighters from the Murong family, all higher level, all looking for blood. Liang's team stepped forward to meet them. Just 3 people, same as always. Liang drew his red blade. If you can't break the record yourself, stop barking at people who can. Murong Lan stared at the sword, polished, red, brand new. So Liang had found himself a better weapon. Fine, Murong said, pointing straight at him. Next difficulty level, whoever breaks the record first wins. They stood across from each other in the empty street. The loser will know the consequences, Murong added. Liang didn't flinch. Other people are afraid of you, not me. Both groups walked toward the dungeon gate while the crowd whispered behind them. Picking a fight with the Murong family was never wise. Tigang caught up to Liang. Your sister told you to stay away from Murong's people. Shanshan gripped her staff and shook her head. We can't just accept being called cheaters. Liang's smile didn't waver. Why worry? We have a secret weapon. And that secret weapon was me. The 3 of them showed up at the forge, looking around. Tigang spotted me first. Master, you're still here, he said, nearly tripping over his own feet to reach me. Liang held out his red sword. We made a bet with Murong Lan. We need to break the elite dungeon record. Can you upgrade it? You just broke a record, right? I said, keeping my voice casual. I'll take the bonus rewards as payment. Liang pressed a glowing crystal into my hands without thinking twice. You're too kind, Master, Shanshan said. They had no idea how well this deal worked for me. Kindness had nothing to do with it. Every crystal they brought back was fuel for my own growth. Helping them was helping myself. I held the crystal up and turned it in the firelight. The big exam was coming. Now I needed to think about building my own gear. But first, their upgrade. Liang and Tigang both looked nervous as I examined the blade. It's already been upgraded twice, Liang said. Tigang pushed his glasses up. The failure rate for a second enhancement on a level 1 weapon is 80%. Shanshan smacked Liang on the back of the head. He turned a starter sword into a dragon blade. You think he'll fail now? I set the blade in the fire and brought the hammer down. Golden light poured from the metal as Liang watched. When I pulled it out, the sword was different. Longer, sharper, and warm with power. Tigang's face lit up. It went up a full rank and there's a new special effect too. Liang held the sword up and the stat panel appeared, enhanced 3 times 4 special effects all on a level 1 weapon. His mouth stayed open for a while. He lowered his head. I'll repay you for this someday, I promise. As Liang's team left, a girl with pink hair nearby shook her head. Beginners who don't know how the world works, she said. A boy beside her squinted at Liang. Aren't those the ones who broke the record? Now they're betting against Murong Lan? I pulled my hood a bit tighter and let the corners of my mouth rise. Another bystander folded his arms. Nobody beats the Murong family. They should just give up and save themselves the pain. I stretched my arms wide. With weapons I upgraded. The elite dungeon was a walk in the park. A good weapon matters more than raw talent. That was always true, and these 3 were proving it. Shanshan's staff was next, then Tigang's, and honestly maybe I should have taken Murong's bet too. 9-11. If they didn't make any big mistakes they should finish well before 10. Before the hour was up, golden light exploded from the dungeon gate. The bystanders froze. Someone already finished, the pink-haired girl said. Faster than I expected. Even average fighters could get full value out of my work. The announcement lit up above the gate. Liang Shanshan Tigang. Elite dungeon record broken. 41 minutes 36 seconds. The boy in the brown cloak blinked at the scoreboard. That's not Murong Lan. I called over to them as they walked back. Want another round of upgrades? All 3 rushed over, weapons in hand. Please, master, Liang said. Upgrade everything, all the materials are yours. I swung the hammer again. This time I pushed each weapon along its full evolution path. When I finished, Shanshan was laughing and Tigang couldn't stop reading numbers. My skill range doubled and the damage went up 5 times, he said. But all of this was still low-grade base equipment. If I wanted to build a real set for myself, the materials and quality needed to be on a completely different level. Something in the air shifted. I looked down the street and pulled my cloak a little tighter. Word was spreading fast. Small crowds gathered along the road, pointing at Liang's team. The old record was 62 minutes, someone said. How did beginners beat that? Then one of Murong Lan's fighters came flying in and knocked Liang to the ground without any warning. Murong Lan walked through the crowd with his phone held high. I've already reported them, he announced. He lowered his voice just enough to sound serious. Illegal items can destroy a dungeon. These people are a danger to the whole city. They didn't cheat. I made those weapons myself. A simple check would find nothing. Murong pressed his boot onto Liang's back. Beginners don't break records without help, he said. I watched from the edge of the street but didn't move. Then the whole crowd went quiet. A tall man in a black coat with long silver hair walked in and everyone stepped aside. Bureau Chief Bai, Murong Lan said, turning with a bow. These 3 beginners broke the dungeon record. I believe they used illegal items. Murong pressed harder. Illegal items make the dungeon unstable, sir. If something breaks, monsters could escape into the city. He raised a fist for effect. A disaster for everyone. Liang shoved himself up from the ground. We didn't cheat. Stop lying about us. Chief Bai's face didn't change. That's not for you to decide. He turned to his assistant. Scan them. The scan took seconds. No illegal items found, the assistant said. Liang spun back to Murong. We told you. Chief Bai studied the 3 of them carefully. It is unusual for beginners to break a dungeon record, he admitted. But there is one way to settle this. A ball of golden light formed in his palm. This device will follow you inside the dungeon and record everything that happens. If you truly have the skill, he said, then prove it. His assistant spoke up. The elite dungeon is still on cooldown, sir. They can only run hard difficulty. Chief Bai nodded. Then hard difficulty. Liang stepped forward. I can wait for the cooldown. But Chief Bai shook his head. Hard difficulty and normal difficulty are not the same thing. Do it now. Murong Lan smirked from the side. But Liang turned to look at Shanshan and Tigang, and none of them seemed afraid. All 3 weapons had been upgraded twice now. They were far stronger than anyone in this crowd knew. Liang set his jaw. I'll take the front. Let's go. Inside the dungeon, a wall of goblins charged through the red haze, teeth bared and yellow eyes glowing. Liang's sword activated its pull. Every enemy within 200 meters flew toward him, and the explosion that followed erased them all. Outside, Murong Lan and Chief Bai watched the battle through the monitoring device. Neither of them said a word. The dungeon gate opened and all 3 walked out. Hard difficulty record broken. 34 minutes, 11 seconds. Tigang pushed his glasses up with the widest grin. Did you see my spells in there? I was incredible. Shanshan turned to him. This is not the time to brag. Liang faced Chief Bai directly. Now can you confirm we didn't cheat? In the streets, the crowd had changed its tone entirely. They broke another record, the pink-haired girl said, and the bureau chief was watching the whole time. The brown-cloaked boy nodded slowly. They're the real thing. Ling held out his sword to Chief Bai. No illegal items, the weapons are just strong. Chief Bai looked at the blade with sharp eyes. May I examine your weapons? He held the sword up to the light. The stat panel glowed, level 1, enhanced 3 times, 4 special effects at the highest rank. His expression changed. Only the most powerful forge master in the country could produce something like this, he murmured. He looked down at Liang. Where did these weapons come from? Liang pointed down the street without hesitation. A master in a black robe, he upgraded them for free, right over there. Chief Bai's eyes widened. A master forge master in a black robe. Could it be old Master Du Mingrui? But when Liang led him back to the forge, the spot was empty. The fire was still warm, but the master was gone. I was already 3 streets away, walking through a quiet alley, with my drop inventory open. Materials and equipment from their dungeon runs were piling up nicely. A single day of their farming pushed me to level 12, but now that they could handle dungeons on their own, it was time to focus on what mattered, building my own equipment. Behind the market, Chief Bai paused. He'd spotted a hooded figure slipping through the shadows ahead. A masked forge master, he murmured. The skill matches Du Mingrui, but the voice those kids described was young. He frowned and turned the thought over. A young forge master at that level, it shouldn't be possible. But he let the thought go. He placed a hand on Liang's shoulder. No violations found. Liang let out a long breath as Chief Bai walked away. The whole mess was finally behind them, or so he thought. 2 of Mirong Lan's men stepped out from a side road and blocked the path. Our young master wants to buy that sword, the bigger one said. 200,000. Liang pulled his sword back behind him. Not for sale. The mage beside the fighter tapped his staff on the ground. 200,000 is generous for someone like you. Mirong Lan appeared behind them. Everything I want, I get, he said. There are no exceptions. He snapped his fingers. The mage raised his staff and the fighter cracked his knuckles. Liang, Shanshan and Tigang drew their weapons and stood together. 3 beginners want to fight level 15 fighters, the muscular one said with a grin. This will be over fast. A fireball tore through the street, and the fight began. Mirong Lan's 2 level 15 fighters were already finished. The mage could barely stand, and the big one was sitting in the dirt. His men backed away. Young master, a smart man doesn't fight a losing battle. We should go. Mirong Lan's face was stone. Remember what I said, he told them. All 3 of you. He climbed into the car and gave his steward a single order. Find the black-robed forge master, no matter what it takes. I sold everything through the automated auction system. Materials, equipment drops, all of it. Around 80 to 90,000, enough to buy a piece or 2 of mid-level gear. I tapped the terminal and set up my account. The interface was simple enough. I was about to start browsing when I heard a familiar voice somewhere behind me. I stepped behind a pillar and listened. Teacher Qian was standing nearby with another woman, talking about me. The other woman looked doubtful. He's a forge master. Can he even reach level 10 before the exam? Teacher Qian smiled. Level 15 is hard to promise, Teacher Qian said. But reaching level 10, I'm sure he can do it. Teacher Qian checked her phone. 120,000. She had just spent that much on something. I stepped out from behind the pillar. Both women turned and spotted me right away. Chen Yan, what are you doing here? Teacher Qian asked. Did you go dungeon running with your team today? Are you hurt? The other woman crossed her arms and looked me over. So this is Chen Yan. Teacher Qian introduced her. This is my best friend Ruoli, the daughter of Sheng Huang. If you ever need forging materials, she can help. Then Teacher Qian held out a golden hammer. You're taking the exam. You need a proper weapon, a forge master. Without a hammer is nothing. She pushed it toward me with a smile. I bought an extra one. It's not worth much. It was worth a lot more than she was letting on. I took it carefully. Thank you, Teacher Qian. She waved me off. Don't be so formal. Anytime you need help, just come to me. Even if you don't break through to level 15 before the exam, it's fine. Your talent will show eventually. Roly turned to Teacher Qian. The auction house doesn't have any ancient vine jade. We should go check the dungeon directly. If someone just broke a record, we can buy the drops from them. She seemed to know exactly what she wanted. Sharp eyes, quick thinking. Teacher Qian looked back at me. This is important, so we have to go. Take care of yourself, Chen Yan. I followed them to the teleport ring instead. Is this for the level 10 to 25 Ancient Vine Manor dungeon? How much jade do you need? Roly raised an eyebrow. You want to farm materials for me? If you can get ancient vine jade, I'll pay 200,000 per piece, I asked. She nodded. 1 piece, 200,000. 2 pieces, 400,000. I kept my face calm. Teacher Qian laughed. Rololi, stop teasing him. She looked at me gently. Chen Yan, you should go to the ruins and level up first. You haven't reached level 10 yet. You can't enter that dungeon. Rolly's expression was firm. You're not even level 10. You can't get in. Go train first, she said. Come back when you're ready. She grabbed Teacher Qian's arm. Let's hurry. If someone breaks a record before we get there, we'll miss it. They disappeared through the teleport. I looked down at the hammer in my hand. Time to see what this thing was really made of. The auction house was also a good place to find hidden value. Plenty of unidentified items passed through every day. I pulled up an appraisal charm from the system. I used it on the hammer. No wonder it cost 120,000. It was rare grade, level 10, with 2 special effects already built in. Forging hammer. Rare, level 10. Spirit boost and critical hit chance. A solid base, better than I expected. Good enough for the exam as it was. But I didn't want good enough. It still needed more. I pulled up the upgrade paths. People had been farming dungeons all day. Fresh materials should be hitting the market right now. And they were. Someone had just cleared the abyss level dungeon in the ruins. 4 rare forging crystals, still warm from the drop. Exactly what I needed. I fed them into the hammer and started the upgrade. Light filled the room. My hidden skill leveled up with it. Divine Craftsman Hammer, now level 3, success rate up to 0.3%. A small number, but it changed everything. No more hitting the hammer 1,000 times to get 1 success. That alone would save me a mountain of materials. The first result came through. Flame Steel Hammer. The name glowed in the air. Better, but still not what I was after. I kept forging. Lightning cracked through the metal. The room filled with energy I could barely control. Outside, the sky split open. People in the streets stopped and looked up. Since when was there a storm? Someone said. That thunder is way too loud. Halfway across the city, Ruoli glanced out the car window. Something incredible just appeared near the auction house, she said. Teacher Kian sighed. We're too far away to go back now. Ruoli gripped the wheel tighter. If we had stayed just a little longer, we could have seen it happen. Maybe even bought it, she added, her eyes still on the flashing sky. Teacher Kian shook her head with a smile. You already own more rare items than most shops. Focus on the jade first. That's why we're out here. Across the city, in the bureau office, Chief Bai stood at his window and watched the lightning tear through the clouds. He recognized what this was. A storm like this only came when someone was forging at the very highest level. Old Master Du, he murmured. Only he could cause something like this. But what was the country's greatest forge master doing in Beijing City? He had no answer. The final strike landed. I held up the finished hammer and felt the lightning still running through the metal. Flash Gold Purple Thunder Hammer. Level 10, enhanced 4 times. 7 special effects, critical hit at mythical rank, Thunder Spread, Thunderstorm and Lightning Strike, all at the highest grade. Rank 88 on the Divine Weapon list. The Thunder God's Hammer. Who says a Forge Master has no attack power? With this hammer I could hit as hard as any combat mage in the city. And the best part, as long as I had materials, I could make copies. Enough to arm an entire team, or even a small army. But armies meant picking the right people. One bad choice, one Murong Lan, could ruin everything. I'd worry about that later. I put the hammer away and hailed a taxi. The ancient vine jade was still the priority. Equipment alone had already eaten through 100,000. The spending was only going to get worse. Rolef and Teacher Kian arrived at the ancient vine manor entrance, but the place was dead quiet. The conditions are brutal, Ruali said. Max level 25, and your team can't be more than 4 people. Beijing City is full of talented fighters, Teacher Kian said. They've already pushed the records to the limit years ago. Ruali frowned. That's exactly why the jade is so hard to find. We might need a different plan. I walked into the dungeon market just as Teacher Kian spotted me and waved. Ruoli raised an eyebrow when she saw me. You again? I told you to go level up. Before I could answer, 3 familiar faces appeared behind me. Liang, Shanshan and Tigang, and they headed straight for Ruoli. Liang, Ruoli, same last name, same sharp eyes. I looked between them and understood. Ruoli stared at her brother's level display, and her expression changed. You went up 11 levels in one day. How is that possible? Liang told the whole story. We met a forge master in a black robe who upgraded all our weapons for free. After that we cleared every dungeon in the ruins. Shanshan nodded. The ruins dungeon is on cooldown now, so we came here while we wait. Liang held up his sword with pride. That forge master was on a different level. I wish he hadn't disappeared. I wanted to thank him properly. Ruoli glanced at me and then back at Liang. Who's this? Teacher Kian stepped in. My student Chen Yan. He's also a forge master. Liang's eyes went wide. He broke into a grin. I love making friends with forge masters. My dad always says they're full of surprises. Which university are you going to, brother? He asked. Friendly. Honest. No idea who he was talking to. I'm not going to a university, I said. I'm taking the big exam. Ruoli looked at me sideways, but said nothing. She stood there for a moment, arms crossed, deciding whether I was worth any more of her attention. A few minutes later, Liang was still going. We ran into Murong Lan today, he said with both fists up, and we put him in his place. Think of it as getting revenge for you, brother. He was looking right at me, grinning like a hero. Teacher Kian's eyes went wide. The famous Murong Lan, beaten by 3 beginners. Ruoli grabbed Liang's arm and squeezed. I told you not to pick fights with the Murong family. He pulled back. He started it. He challenged us to a dungeon race. Liang turned to me and put a hand on my shoulder. Don't worry, brother. We'll take you dungeon running and help you level up. Tigang nodded. Teacher Kian's student is our brother too. The relationships here were getting complicated. I was their secret forge master, their teacher's student, and now their sworn brother. Shanshan tilted her head and stared at me. Something in her eyes like she was trying to place my face. A heavy voice cut through the market. A large man in gold-plated armor walked straight up to Ruoli, the daughter of Shenghuang Forging. Also here for the jade? Is that your business? Ruoli said without turning her head. Ling's jaw tightened. That's Zhu Rui, he said quietly. Murong Forging Company's enforcer. He's here for the same thing. The Murong family, they really were everywhere. Zhu Rui grinned down at Ruoli. Miss C, don't waste your time waiting around. The Murong family will handle this dungeon. Liang stood tall, his team behind him. Zhu Rui had thrown down a challenge. First team to clear the dungeon takes the jade. Liang drew his sword and aimed it at Zhu Rui. You want a competition? Zhu Rui laughed and pointed right back. Let's see what you little brats can do. The Murong family's treasure hunters are the best in the city, he said. Don't cry when you lose, Miss C. His squad lined up behind him. 4 fighters, all in high-level gear. They looked ready for war. Ruoli watched them march into the dungeon with a quiet smile. Fully equipped. They were serious about this. Liang turned back to his sister. Don't worry, we've got this. Ruoli tipped her hat and looked away. You're too reckless. Even if you can't break the record, it's fine, she said. Just come back safe. Liang, Shanshan and Tigang headed for the dungeon gate. I called out behind them. Hold on, I'm coming with you. They all turned around. Teacher Qian shook her head. Chenyan, the ancient vine dungeon needs at least a certain level to enter. There's a level limit, she said. Even in a team, you might not get in. Ruoli glanced at me, then at Liang. Don't worry about it. Once they finish, they'll take you to level up, she said warmly. We promise. Liang nodded. Leave it to us, brother. The moment you're high enough, we'll bring you in ourselves, he said. Ruoli smiled beside him. Then Liang checked the party screen. His eyes went wide. Level 14, Forge Master. My join request floated in front of everyone. Chenyan, level 14 Forge Master, requesting to join the party. Ruoli turned to me with a different look. Your student is not ordinary, she told Teacher Qian. He reached level 14 by himself in a single day, she said. How is that even possible? Teacher Qian stared at me. How did you do that? Even A-rank combat students can't level up that fast in one day, she said. I kept it simple. I tagged along with a team and gained experience. Upgraded a few weapons on the way. And I got lucky, landed the final blow on the boss. That gave me extra experience, I added. Liang scratched his head. Shanshan and Tigang exchanged a look. This story sounded very familiar. Liang was thinking hard. A forge master who followed the team, upgraded their gear, then killed the boss. That was exactly what happened to them. Teacher Qian smiled. Maybe SSS-Rank forge masters just level up faster than normal. If he follows Liang's team into the ancient vine dungeon, he could gain even more experience, she said. A dungeon portal burst open beside her. He might even break through level 15. A top university wouldn't be far off. The dungeon pulled us in. Dark sky, dead trees, ruins in every direction. I looked over at Shanshan. She held her staff ready, eyes scanning the dark. You are already level 14, she said, studying me. But just to be safe, I'll keep a close watch on you, she added. Tigang raised his staff. What about me? That's not fair. Shanshan turned on him. You're a mage. He's a forge master. Who needs more protection? She held up her staff as if the argument was already over. Lin walked past Tigang and patted him on the shoulder. Tigang pressed a hand to his chest. So I'm the one nobody cares about. That's when we saw them, tree creatures with glowing red eyes, blocking every direction. I recognized them from my past life. Ancient vine minions, level 10. Weak on their own but controlled by a mother tree. If we didn't cut the roots, they'd keep growing back. The trick was speed. Cut the connection to the main body first. Everything else was a waste of energy. More of them crawled out of the dirt. They didn't stop. I pointed at the base of the nearest one. Hit the roots. That's where they're connected. Fire and magic hit the tree monsters all at once. Lin tore through them, blades spinning in a ring of flame. The whole field burned. Roots snapped and the creatures collapsed into ash. When the last one fell, Liang grinned. These things were nothing. Brother, you have to run dungeons with us. Shanshan folded her arms. If Chen Yan hadn't told you to aim for the roots, you'd still be wasting your strength. Think about it, she said. You owe him. Liang threw an arm around my shoulder. Fine, fine. We really are the perfect team. Tigang flashed a thumbs up. Brother Chen, you knew their weak point the second you saw them. I just read a lot of books, I said. Back at school, everyone called me a bookworm. Shanshan paused mid-step. I wish we could find that black robe master again. If he could upgrade Chen Yan's weapon, Chen Yan could fight the monsters himself, she said. A black cat darted out from behind a crumbled wall. Shanshan jumped. Past the ruins, something massive lit up. A tree so large it blocked half the sky. Ancient vine giant tree, the dungeon boss. Level 12. 33,000 health points. Tigang went pale. If we kill that thing, we clear the dungeon. They had already attacked. Liang and Tigang stood ready. Their strongest moves spent, but the boss hadn't lost a single point of health. It didn't take the hits, it blocked them all. The small tree monsters had taken every attack instead. The boss used them as shields while it studied our team. Then the vines moved. Liang and Tigang were pulled off the ground and hung upside down in one strike. The boss was smart. It waited until it understood who was dangerous, then locked down both fighters at once. Liang twisted against the vines. His arms, his legs all pinned. His sword was useless. Shanshan raised her staff and sent a wave of golden light over me, healing and shielding at the same time. Deeper inside the dungeon, another team was already falling apart. One fighter shouted at his healer to stay back. It was too late. A man in white armor lay in a pool of blood, while the healer poured everything he had into keeping him alive. Zhu Rui's team had already lost. I pulled out my hammer. Liang was screaming at me to run, but I wasn't leaving anyone behind. Behind me, the vines caught Shanshan and Tigang too. Now I was the only one left. Shanshan bit her lip, fighting against the vines. Tigang tried to use his floating ability, but his hands were pinned. Without them he had no control. The vines wrapped tight around Shanshan's staff. She couldn't cast a thing. "Can you still use your power?" she asked Tigang. All three of them, Shanshan, Liang, Tigang, wrapped up like prisoners. Liang's sword sat in the dirt out of reach. I swung the hammer down. Golden light exploded upward from the ground. Liang gritted his teeth. They had been so close to winning. Tigang hung from the vines, shaking his head. "We were careless. The small monsters were so weak we forgot the boss would be this strong." Liang shouted from the other side. "Sis, I'm sorry. I leave the family business to you." Tigang managed a weak grin. "Can you stop bragging about money right now?" I rose into the sky. The thunder hammer crackled in my grip, and lightning tore across the clouds behind me. The sky turned white, pure lightning, falling like a storm. I hit the ground, and the shockwave ripped through the ruins. Level 15. I had just crossed the line. But barely passing was not enough. The Murong family handed me the perfect stage, and I planned to shatter the record on it. The vines went limp. Liang, Shanshan and Tigang dropped to the ground, free. Lang stared at me. "Chenyan, brother, what just happened?" I stood in the dust and fading lightning. The boss was gone. The dungeon was cleared. We were back outside. Tigang, Liang and Shanshan stood facing me. Nobody could speak for a moment. Liang was the first to laugh. "I honestly thought we were going to be plant food in there." Tigang turned to me, still in shock. "I can't believe I just got saved by a Forge Master." "Can an SSS-Rank Forge Master really do that much damage?" he asked. He still didn't believe what he saw. Shanshan was quiet for a moment. "It was that hammer," she said slowly. I kept my voice calm. "I ran into a Black Robe Master a while back. He helped me upgrade it." Shanshan looked me straight in the eyes. "No. You are the Black Robe Master." She glanced at Liang and Tigang standing behind me. "I thought you looked familiar from the very beginning." Her smile settled in. "We both ran into a Forge Master. Both times it was the same person. There's only one answer." Liang and Tigang stood facing me. Even my voice had given me away. They both knew. Tigang's jaw dropped. Even for an SSS rank Forge Master, that kind of speed shouldn't be possible. Ling reached over and pulled my hood back. He grinned. "I knew it was you." They had all figured it out. No reason to hide anymore. "The Forge Master you've been talking about, that's me." Tigang nearly floated off the ground with joy. "Master, can you upgrade my gear too?" Liang pulled him back. "Calm down, you're embarrassing yourself." Then Liang turned to me with a hopeful smile. "So, any chance of a friend discount?" I looked at the two of them, then at Shanshan standing quietly behind. "See? You two are falling apart." But Shanshan hasn't blinked once. Shanshan's face was bright red. She hadn't moved because she was frozen solid. "Your forged weapons have something special," she said softly. "Could I study them more?" "It's just upgrading gear," I said. "You can all come to me anytime." I raised one finger. "But I have one condition." Liang gripped my shoulder. "Don't worry, brother. What happened today stays between us." Golden light swallowed us whole. The dungeon sent us back to the surface. Ruwali and Teacher Qian were standing right at the entrance waiting. "You two have been out here the whole time?" Lang asked. Ruwali crossed her arms. "You went into a dungeon. How could I not worry?" "That boss is level 12, she said. "It would be normal if you couldn't beat it." Then the system announcement lit up across the sky. New normal difficulty record, 31 minutes and 12 seconds. Both women froze. "You broke the record," Ruoli said. "How?" Liang smiled. "Didn't I tell you? We met a real master Forge Master. With his upgraded gear we flew through that dungeon. But normal difficulty wasn't enough. The material I needed wouldn't drop here. We had to go higher." Roland handed me a pass. "Elite difficulty then." Teacher Qian looked worried. "Chen Yan, are you going in again?" Liang tapped his chest. "Leave it to us." Rolly's voice went low. "Whether you find the jade or not, bring Chen Yan back safe." We crushed the elite boss in a single hit. Over 30,000 health, gone in one swing of the hammer. Elsewhere in the dungeon town, Zhu Rui finished his own run and checked the leaderboard. 56 minutes and 22 seconds, but someone had already beaten his time. The hologram read 31 minutes, 12 seconds. It was Liang's team from Holy Emperor Academy. When we came out, Zhu Rui was already standing near the gate. "You used illegal items," he snapped. "That's the only way you beat our record." Rolly stood nearby with her arms folded, perfectly calm. "You lost," she said. "Stop making excuses." Zhu Rui turned on her. "We need that jade. The Mirong family is counting on us." I stepped in front of Teacher Qian. This was getting heated. Rolly looked at our team. "You four, go into the dungeon. I'll handle things here." Zhu Rui's squad stepped forward behind him. "You didn't get the jade either, and now cheating won't be so easy for you." He held up a red crystal that burned with light, an anti-cheat device. He placed it near the dungeon gate. Anyone who uses illegal items inside will be trapped there forever. He looked almost proud of himself. Let's see who really plays dirty. Liang and I watched from the entrance as Jurui's group walked away. They can't win, Liang said, so they call us cheaters. Murong family dogs. I stared at the red crystal glowing beside the gate. They had picked the wrong fight. Later that night, I checked the elite difficulty record. 82 minutes, 33 seconds. After one swing of my hammer, nobody was gonna touch that number. Liang scratched his head. What's your plan? We all need more experience, I said. So we went back in and I smashed every vine creature the dungeon could throw at us. 32 rounds later, Tigang was asleep in the dirt and Liang could barely sit up. I rolled my shoulder. All three of them shot to their feet. No more monsters to farm. Tigang grinned for the first time in hours. Finally, a real fight. Liang pointed ahead. The boss looks angry. Let's end this. One hit. The system confirmed it. Instant kill, double experience, and a rare ancient vine armor. Outside, a passing fighter stared at the board. Elite difficulties 16 minutes and 22 seconds. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Rolly was holding the jade when we walked out. She looked down at it, then at Liang's sword. All of this from one weapon? Teacher Qian grabbed Ruoli's arm. We should leave before Jurui's team comes out. I stopped. The Murong family already broke the hard and abyss records. They got the jade too. That hits your forging company pretty hard, doesn't it? Ruoli shook her head. They earned those records with real strength. I can't argue with that. Maybe we can still cut them off, I said. Ruoli paused. Wait, what exactly are you thinking? Holy Emperor wants to reach 3-star before the Murong family, right? Her eyes went wide. How do you know that? To reach 3-star, a forging company needs the ancient vine staff, I said. And the jade we just collected is the most important piece. Rolly tilted her head. You know quite a lot for a student. I smiled. I read a lot. Teacher Qian laughed. I told you, Chen Yan is the smartest student we have. Ruoli looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. A forge master who knows this much. I want to hire him right now. She raised the jade in her palm. So Holy Emperor actually has a chance at 3-star. 12-star levels for forging companies, she said. The higher the rank, the stronger the weapons. I crossed my arms. Between Holy Emperor and Murong, whoever reaches 3-star first controls the whole city. Whoever holds more power in Beijing wins everything. Rolly frowned. But I can't send a few students into danger for something this big. Liang drew his sword. Chen Yan is right. The Murong family has pushed too far. We should cut off their path while we still can. He grinned at Ruoli. Relax. With the four of us, nothing can go wrong. The dungeon gate opened, and golden light pulled us in again. Outside, Teacher Qian stared at the light fading behind them. Their weapons were far stronger than they should be. A true master must have forged them. No wonder those kids kept breaking records, one after another. She smiled to herself. I hope Chen Yan becomes someone great one day, like the legendary forge masters in the old stories. Rolly watched the sealed gate with a quiet smile. That kid has no ceiling. The moon was thin against the night sky. Next difficulty, I said. Liang pushed his sunglasses up and grinned. Hard mode wasn't much worse than elite. Then we stepped into the abyss, and the monsters waiting inside were nothing like before. Armored knights with glowing green cores, standing in perfect rows. I tightened my grip on the hammer. Something had changed. In my previous life, monsters in a low-level dungeon never mutated like this. Shanshan raised her staff and cast a floating barrier over the team. Tigang threw up a wall of green energy behind her. I brought the hammer down on the first night. Lightning cracked through its armor. Every monster has different skills, I called out. And they're working together. Liang pulled up the numbers. Health and defense far above what this dungeon should allow. Something was very wrong. Even for abyss difficulty, these creatures had no business being this strong. Without the Thunderhammer's damage, we wouldn't have lasted this long. These regular monsters had enough health and defense to give a level 20 fighter serious trouble. Two more armored knights rushed forward, dark energy pouring off their blades. Tigan gripped his staff tight. If we go down in a place like this, we'd be dead before we even understood what happened. He wasn't wrong. I had damage but zero defense. One solid hit and I was done. I needed survival gear fast, or the next fight might be my last. Shanshan lifted her staff. Stop worrying and help me finish these two. Ling pulled up the stats. Level 20, over 20,000 health. His sword couldn't one-shot them anymore. I stepped forward with the hammer. Shanshan's green barrier wrapped around me like a second skin. The hammer struck and lightning ripped the ground apart, turning both knights to dust. Then the real boss showed itself, a massive tree with 6 red eyes. Its roots tangled through piles of human skulls. Tigang's mouth fell open. 70,000 health, and who knows what skills it has. I raised the hammer and measured what we were up against. Even 4 fully equipped level 25 fighters would struggle here. The three of us stood side by side, weapons out, staring down something that should not exist in this dungeon. Our damage isn't anywhere close to enough, Tigang said. Lang shook his head. We could hit it all day and it might not feel a thing. I gave them the plan. Shanshan barrier up. Tigang shield first. Liang follow my lead. Green healing light flooded over me, and I felt my strength come rushing back. I brought the hammer down on the tree with everything I had. Purple lightning swallowed it whole. The first hit cracked it open, but the boss held, so I swung a second time, and the creature shattered. The battlefield went quiet. Liang leaned on his sword, breathing hard, and looked at me like I was someone new. Tigang caught up. How did you level up before the rest of us? You need more experience at higher levels. He pushed his glasses up, genuinely confused. 5 times experience bonus, I said. Every kill gives me 5 times more than you. Still 2 full hits to kill a dungeon boss was too many. Something about this dungeon was broken. Liang scratched his head. Shen smiled. Tigang folded his arms and waited for my point. 2 hits and you think that was hard? Liang said. You killed a boss in 2 swings. I turned to Shan. I mean the dungeon itself. The difficulty is way above what it should be, she agreed. That's not normal. The Dungeon Management Bureau should handle it, let's go. Across the city, inside the Bureau headquarters, an officer threw open the office door mid-meeting. Chief Bai looked up from the table. Director, the Ancient Vine dungeon data is broken. The officer reported, holding up a tablet. The monsters are nearly as strong as a level 30 Abyss dungeon. Chief Bai rose to his feet. Seal that dungeon. You two search the area. The rest come with me to get those people out. We walked out of the dungeon gate into daylight. Players on both sides froze. The record board behind us glowed. 26 minutes, 31 seconds. 2 fighters nearby watched us with arms crossed. They had seen everything. They broke every record, one muttered. All 4 difficulties. First time that's ever happened. Lin ran to Ruoli and threw his arm up. We did it. The Murong family can't touch this record. Ruoli smiled at him warmly. You've really grown up. I'll make sure our parents hear about this. I studied the bonus reward. A red gem I had never seen before. Not the jade we expected. Liang put a hand on his chest and pointed at me. We only got the jade because of them. Give credit where it belongs. Ruoli ruffled his hair and laughed. Taking care of his teammates now, and even sharing experience with Chen Yan. She looked my way with a quiet interest I hadn't seen from her before. 400,000 each, she said, holding up 4 fingers. For helping with the material runs. 400,000. With that kind of money I could finally solve the armor problem. Not far from the dungeon gate, another team had just finished their own run. 2 of their fighters stood staring at the record board. Boss, we didn't break anything. One of them said nervously. The new record is 16 minutes, 22 seconds. His partner's eyes went wide. 16 minutes, how is that possible? Their leader's face twisted with anger. Their record is beyond anything we can do. We need that jade from the hard dungeon, or we're done. If we don't get the jade this time, he shouted, every single one of us is finished. Boss, the hard dungeon record already dropped to 20 minutes, a scout reported, waving his hands. Then the Abyss dungeon. The leader growled through his teeth. One of his men shook his head. The Abyss is too strong for us. We might not even survive it. Before anyone could argue, a system notice appeared. The Dungeon Management Bureau had shut the Abyss difficulty down completely. Officials in dark uniforms were already gathering at the entrance. The latest Abyss record is 26 minutes, 31 seconds, the scout added, his voice almost a whisper. The leader did the math. 16 plus 20 plus 26, 62 minutes. While his team struggled through one run, that squad had cleared every difficulty and taken every record. He exploded. All of you follow me back to headquarters. Now. Inside the sealed Abyss dungeon, one of Chief Bai's officers scanned the empty area. No bodies anywhere. A second officer glanced deeper in. Maybe they're at the boss room. Chief Bai walked ahead in silence. If the mutated monsters had killed a squad inside his dungeon, the Bureau would take all the blame. That weight showed in every line on his face. He pointed to 2 officers. Search the area. Then he turned to a third. You with me. The officer ahead stopped cold. The boss, it's already dead. Chief Bai stared at the remains. Dead roots lay flat across the ground. The arena was silent and empty. He pulled up the boss data himself. Level 23. 68,000 health. 100,000 defense. A monster like this had no place in a low-level dungeon. Find out why this thing mutated, he said. That is our only job right now. The officer beside him finished scanning. The data is correct, no system errors. But someone killed it, the officer said. A mutated boss this strong, and someone actually took it down. Chief Bai sat among the dead vines. 4 level 25 fighters would barely manage this. His jaw tightened. Nothing about this made sense. 2 more officers came running back from the outer sections. Director, the system just updated, one of them said, holding up his tablet. A squad entered the Abyss dungeon before we sealed it. He turned the screen around. New dungeon record, 26 minutes, 31 seconds. They had killed the boss and left. Chief Bai's expression shifted. They hadn't just survived. They had set a record. The entrance board should have it posted too, the officer added. He pulled up the squad info. Team leader, Si Liang, level 12. 12. Chief Bai repeated. Only level 12. There are higher level members too, the officer said quickly. Chief Bai shook his head slowly. Level 12. 4 level 25s couldn't do what they did. He said it again, as if repeating it would make it less impossible. The officer scrolled further. 3 level 12 fighters, and 1 level 16 Forge Master. Chief Bai took the tablet from his hands. These names, I've heard them somewhere before. His eyes locked on one line. A Forge Master. A class with no combat ability at all. Back in the city at sunset, I sold every piece of unused equipment and material from the dungeon runs, 200,000 from the sales. I held up the last piece of loot and let it go. Combined with Ruli's 400,000, I had enough for armor and an appraisal scroll. I activated the scroll and golden light spread across the page. The armor stats popped up, nothing amazing, but the quality level could take several rounds of upgrades. I found an old forge tucked in a back alley and set up the anvil. A stray cat watched from the steps behind me. I wouldn't take long. On the way home, I had fed all 15 rare materials from the dungeon into my forging skill. The talent jumped a level and something new appeared, attribute fusion. I remembered an old blacksmith from my previous life. He would have called me crazy for even thinking about combining different attributes. But here I was, holding proof that everyone was wrong. I felt a smile come across my face, a talent skill that should not exist, and it belonged to me. The thunder hammer rebuilt itself in a storm of purple runes. What used to hit one target could now hit everything around it. But there was a problem. The hammer's upgrade limit was almost full. Rare quality weapons could only take 5 upgrades total. After that, nothing more could be added. And if I switched to a better weapon later, all the upgrades I put into this hammer would disappear. I brought the idea to a blacksmith. Can you move the attributes from this weapon to another one? He opened a thick book. I've read about it, but the materials needed are almost impossible to find. The weapon transfer problem could wait. For now, the priority was simple: upgrade my armor and stay alive. Both hard mode dungeons were still on cooldown. I would need to travel further tomorrow for materials. My phone buzzed on the walk home. Someone had pulled me into a group chat, full of people talking about me. 3 classmates from school. I barely recognized their names. One of them, Joe Ye, tagged me directly. Let's run dungeons together tomorrow. Another message followed. Let's hit the hard mode Magic Cloth Ruins. A girl named Feifei wrote next. We feel bad about what happened to you. We can at least help you level up. 3 people I barely knew, offering to carry a Forge Master through combat. Zhu Ye, Li Xuan, Wang Feifei. Since when were we this close? I could not remember a single real conversation with any of them. I typed back, bring your best weapons and materials. Meet me at the ruins entrance. I have a surprise. They wanted to help me, so I would give them something worth helping with. The next morning, all 3 showed up. This is the SSS-Rank Forge Master. Yi looked at me like I was joking. They gathered around the forge. My hammer caught their attention right away. Wait, you want to upgrade our weapons? Feifei asked. I held out my hand. Weapons and materials. Hand them over. After this, dungeons will go faster. Feifei held her crystal staff close. I don't know. This weapon is elite grade. Xuan held up his axe. Mine too. If the upgrade breaks it, I can't afford a second one. 1 or 2 upgrades won't change much anyway, Ye added. We appreciate the thought though. I leaned against the forge and smiled. If anything breaks, I'll replace it. You won't lose a thing. When have I ever lied to you? They looked at each other and the doubt started to crack. Ye pulled out his sword first. Fine, I'll go. The hammer came down, and light burst from the metal. Xuan grinned so wide I thought his face might break. 3 for 3, all successful. They looked at me like I had done something impossible. For a normal Forge Master it would have been. Don't forget about us when you make it big, Xuan said. Feifei smiled. Let's go run that dungeon. Goal for today, push Chen Yan through 5 levels, she announced. That plan lasted about 10 seconds. Liang came running down the street with Tigang and Shanshan right behind him. I brought some classmates to run dungeons, Yi told Liang. Ye raised his upgraded sword. Perfect timing, let's all go together. Liang crossed his arms and gave me a slow, knowing look. Did Chen Yan upgrade your gear too? He asked, already grinning. Yi stepped aside so Liang could see the forge behind me. Liang rested his own weapon on his shoulder. Let's see whose is stronger. You have upgraded weapons too, Yi said. I pressed my hand over my face. These were all low-grade weapons, and they were acting like kings. I did not want to admit I knew these people. Yi grabbed my arm before I could walk away. What are we waiting for? Let's take you grinding all day, he said. Leng stepped between us. Your levels are too low. We're heading outside the city. The smile on his face could start a fight. Ye shot back. We're not that slow. Among the exam students, we're near the top. Liang put his hands on his belt. Level 12, and every dungeon around here already cleared. Every local dungeon is on cooldown for us, he said. Yi's face changed. Wait, the dungeon record yesterday. That was you? Liang raised a finger. That was us. You haven't tried a weapon that Chen Yan upgraded in a real fight. Step into a dungeon with one and you'll understand. Better than anything you'd expect, he added. Ye turned to me, then back to Liang. For once he had nothing to say. Liang laughed. Chen Yan is already level 16. He should be carrying you, not the other way around. Xuan Ye and Feifei waved from down the street. Call us anytime you need help. No charge. Feifei called back one last time. We won't tell anyone about your abilities. Promise. Over the next few runs, Liang's team brought back more materials for me. Can you upgrade us one more time? Liang asked. I shook my head. Not this time. Your weapons are too low grade. They've hit their upgrade limit. The only way forward is to raise the weapon's quality, without destroying it. Liang's face lit up. You know about quality upgrades, you asked the right person. Our family's company, Shenghuang, has a secret technique for exactly that. That was unexpected. But his expression turned serious. Reforging a weapon into rare quality takes very specific materials, things you can't just buy. Tell me where to find them. I'll go hunt. He shook his head. These materials don't drop from any dungeon. You can only find them inside a secret realm. Then his face brightened again. My sister is putting together a team for one right now. We need to train anyway. Why not train inside a secret realm? Tigang and Shanshan exchanged a look. Everyone seemed ready. Shanhuang Forging Company. The headquarters building stood tall over the city center. Inside Ruoli's office, the mood was nothing like what Liang expected. Do you have any idea how dangerous a secret realm is? Ruoli said, her voice sharp. Liang leaned over her chair. Calm down, sis. We know the risks, but this is about our future. You've seen what we can do. The door opened. Ruoli turned to him. Is it the pay? They want more money. He shook his head. No. Zhu Rui's men attacked them on the road. They're badly hurt, can't make the trip. Ruoli's eyes narrowed. The Murong family. Again. The night continued. The Eternal Night Tower needs a set team size and level to enter. If we're even one person short, the entrance won't open. Liang saw his chance. Let us go. With Tigang and Shanshan, we're exactly 4. Ruoli grabbed his nose between 2 fingers. Did you plan this from the start? Liang pulled free. Even if I wanted to, I can't plan the Murong family beating your team. Ruoli. There's no other choice, she said. You can go. But the secret realm is full of danger. Do you hear me? Behind her, Liang was already crumpled on the floor, still holding his nose. Then she looked straight at me. Chen Yan, keep them alive. Whatever it takes. Outside, Liang was still sniffling. My dad says raise sons poor, raise daughters rich. So sis gets everything and I own one cheap sword. By the time we reached the street, he had bounced back. The secret realm is packed with rare treasures. If we bring even a few things out, we're set for life, he said. The drive took us far past the city and deep into the desert. Secret realms were not like dungeons, they were places where another world broke through into ours. Inside one, monsters of every level roamed free. No walls, no safety, traps that no one could predict, and forces that broke the normal rules of the world. Secret realms were ranked from grade 1 to 12 by danger. The higher the number, the worse your chances. The Eternal Night Tower, grade 2. Our group stood in the sand and stared at what lay ahead. Zheng Yue, the knight Ruoli had sent with us, stood at the front. Most of the monsters inside are level 20 to 30. He looked at the 2 soldiers beside him. At your level, fighting them will be rough. But we also have 2 professional treasure hunters. 2 people stepped forward, a silver-haired man with a curved blade, and a woman in purple robes carrying a crystal staff. A high-level assassin and a void mage, Yue said. They cover our weakness and damage. He turned to the 2 of them. I need you to keep these kids alive. If any of them die, no final payment. They both nodded. Calm, quiet, professional. At least that was the impression they gave. Yu's face went serious. One more thing. Once we're inside, if you find any treasure, keep it to yourself. Tell no one. Liang opened his hands. Why? I answered before Yue could. Secret realms aren't like dungeons. There's no private space for each team. Everyone shares the same area. If someone sees you with treasure, you become a target. Yu grinned at me. Smart kid. You've done your reading, but knowledge alone won't keep you alive in there. When things get bad, just stay out of the way. Shanshan handles healing and buffs. The rest of you don't fight. Out past the dunes, a figure lay flat on a jeep roof, watching the oasis through the heat. Zhu Rui's men had found us. We hit our first fight before we even reached the tower. Yue pulled his sword and it burned with light. Purification. Something moved through the fog, tall, armored, and silent. Yu snapped at the 2 hired professionals. Use your skills. What are you standing around for? Wang Biao and Zhang Kuihua stood in the mist, weapons low, barely moving. Neither seemed in any rush. Finally, Zhang Kuihua raised her staff. The crystal at the top blazed purple. Purple fire tore into the wave of creatures, scattering them across the jungle floor. Across the desert, one of Zhu Rui's men pressed binoculars to his face. Boss, your plan is working perfectly. We stopped their original team. Now we send our people in after them. They won't stand a chance. Zhu Rui sat in the shade of a tent, legs crossed, face cold. 1 hour. Then we move. Those Shenhuang fools cost me a beating last time. I haven't forgotten. Today they pay for everything. Below them, the green oasis sat quiet and unaware. The Eternal Night Tower swallowed us whole. A ruined city stretched out under a dead black sky. Broken roofs, cracked stone, and not a single sound. You spoke to Shanshan. First lesson of a secret realm. Protect yourself. People betray each other in here all the time. A flash of energy cracked across the street behind him, proving the point. Shanshan nodded. She understood. We pressed deeper. The rare material we came for could only be earned by completing a quest inside this place. We have to finish the quest to get the material, Yue said. He pressed his hand against an old stone pillar. Light pulsed beneath his fingers. A glowing screen appeared. Kill 20 ghosts per round, earn a soul stone each time. Survive at least 3 rounds to pass. Everyone accept the quest. Yue shouted. I tapped accept. Behind me, Wang Biao and Zhang Kuihua lingered near the wall, watching. The city changed. Blue energy walls sealed every exit. There was no turning back now. Red lanterns lit up along every street. The ghost city had woken up. Yue spun around. He searched the shadows behind us. Where did those two go? Deep in a side alley, the two hired professionals stood watching from the dark. Shenghuang's people are so naive, Zhang Kuihua said. She held up her staff, smiling. Once the quest starts, if they fail, everyone inside dies. Wang Biao leaned against a wall. Zheng Yue is good, but he's dragging 4 dead weight. He'll collapse. And when he does, we move in and take everything. How long do you think they'll hold? She asked. He flipped his dagger and smiled. Not long. The ghosts here don't care how young you are. Lang's jaw tightened. Back when we fought those scorpions, those two were holding back on purpose. Tigang frowned. What would they gain from hurting us? I looked at Shanshan. Same thought. We had been set up from the very start. Yu gripped his sword and stepped forward. 1 fighter, 4 beginners, and a quest that would kill us all if we failed. His jaw set hard. It doesn't matter. We pushed through. Above the gate, dark shapes rose into the sky, ghosts in torn black cloth, floating in silence. I pulled up the stats on the nearest one. Level 22, 6,000 health, 5,000 magic. Nothing special. Actually weaker than the monsters we fought in the Abyss level dungeon. That confirmed it. The dungeon before had been rigged to be harder than it should have been. Liang stared at the ghosts. I thought Secret Realm monsters were supposed to be strong. That's all they've got? Tigang gave a nervous grin. Maybe because it's only the first round. Yue turned to us. Your levels are too low. Do not attack. He lined up with Liang and Shanshan beside him. Don't draw their attention. If all 20 lock onto us at once, nobody gets out. Liang clenched his fists. A blue beam cut through the street and slammed a skeleton ghost into the wall. Tigang's eyes went wide. Their soul attacks mess with a warrior's mind. Even for a second, that's enough to kill. Liang didn't look away. Can he hold? Yue was already deep in it, swinging hard, moving fast, burning through his strength with every strike. He turned back to us, breathing hard, blood on his armor. Was I cool just now? Liang yelled back without thinking. Incredible. But his body told a different story. He was tired, and the next waves would only be worse. Shanshan stepped forward and raised her staff. Green healing light wrapped around him. Liang walked up. Take a break. Leave the next round to us 3. Liang, Tigang and Shanshan stood between Yue and the dark street ahead. Yu shook his head. The second wave is stronger than the first. You saw what those ghosts can do. Tigang pushed his glasses up, still smiling. Those little things aren't so scary. Yu looked at them like they had lost their minds. These kids really didn't know the word fear. Liang put a hand on his shoulder. Trust us. If we can't hold them, you jump back in. I could see it in Yue's face. He was tired, and they were giving him a chance to breathe. He let out a slow breath and looked away. Fine, he said at last. But be careful. Liang pointed at me and back at himself. Us 3 are more than enough. You sit. He turned back with a grin. Honestly, I'm afraid we'll scare you. A thread of blue energy streaked down the empty street. Liang counted fast. Then the sky turned blue. Our combined attack hit the ghost wave like a wall of light. Blue fire washed over every corner of the street. Not a single ghost made it through. When it cleared, Yo was still standing in the middle of the road, fully healed and glowing green from head to toe. His mouth fell open. He scrambled forward. I didn't even get to rest. He spread his arms. I figured at least Shanshan would be normal. Then he stared at her. She's the craziest one of all. Her healing ran for 3 straight minutes. I've been at full health the entire time. The 3 of them walked back to him like nothing had happened. They stood together, Tigang, Liang and Shanshan, looking perfectly calm. Liang gave a small bow. We wouldn't dare show off in front of a senior. Yue opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. That's not showing off. That's... He couldn't even find the word. Yu stood there, green light from his system panel washing over his face. He turned to me. Hey kid, don't feel bad about it. Forging is just a support class after all. But once you level up, any equipment you craft can sell for a good price. He gave me a look that was almost kind. Sometimes you don't even have to fight to earn. Not as exciting as killing monsters, sure, but still not bad, right? Then his eyes caught something on my screen. Wait, did you just level up? The system flooded with numbers. 15,000 experience from one stream, another 2,500 from the other, plus 6 ghost teardrops. Level 17. I had just hit level 17 without swinging a single weapon. 2 separate streams of experience had been flowing in the whole time. One from Liang's team, another from Zhou Ye's 3-man squad. All of it adding up at the same time. The numbers grew fast. Yu's expression shifted. If I'm not wrong, Yu and Liang are exam students from this year. I gave a small nod. He did the math out loud. Since the awakening night, you've had less than 2 days to train. And you went from level 1 to level 17. His voice cracked on the last word. He grabbed me by the collar, half laughing, half screaming. Are you even human? That's when Liang strolled over, looking pleased with himself. All done. We can leave now. Yu spun around. Wait, already? When did you finish the wave? Liang grinned wide. While you were giving Chen Yan your little pep talk. Yui's face tightened. You people are crazy. Every last one of you. He turned down the road. Fine. Let's go find Wang Biao and Kuihua. Those 2 traitors. I opened my hands. We finished 3 rounds of the mission. That gives us 3 spirit stones. Is that enough? Yu Ye shook his head. Not even close. Before, we'd always collect at least 5 per run. 1 stone can upgrade 1 weapon or piece of equipment. Ling spoke up. Then between the 4 of us, we need 20. I spread my hands. We're already here. Might as well farm everything we can. The 3 of them lit up at the same time. Plus the experience is great. They were already turning back toward the next wave. 10 rounds later, Yue looked like a man watching his own end. Round 10. It's already round 10. Fire and lightning tore through the ghost line while he stood behind them with his arms at his sides. He shook his head. Who would have believed it? Teenagers barely passed level 10. Liang dove through the wave of spirits without slowing down. He came back still grinning. Realm missions have a cooldown, you know. We have to get everything we can while we're in here. His grin widened. Besides, these ghosts are way more fun than the Vine Manor monsters. Yu glanced at me. And how exactly did you people clear the Vine Manor? I told him straight. When we fought the monsters there, we didn't finish them right away. We cut them down round by round instead. That way the drops and experience were both bigger. Yu looked like I'd slapped him. That's how you run a dungeon? He shut his eyes and sighed. Normal people just kill fast and run for their lives. He stared at me, not sure whether to be impressed or afraid. Then the next wave came and it was different. A ghost wrapped in purple fire floated through the gate, chains hanging from its arms. More poured in behind it. A dozen, then more. All purple, all glowing, all far stronger than anything from the first 10 rounds. Lang's face went serious for the first time. Our damage isn't enough for this many at once. I checked the stats. Mutated Ghost, Tier 5. Level 30, 23,000 health, nearly 20,000 magic. These were not the same enemies. Yue drew his broadsword. No more talking. We kill this wave, and we get out. Liang and Yo Hai faced each other, weapons drawn, the dark street stretching behind them. Liang laughed, but it wasn't a happy one. We really can't handle these mutated ghosts on our own. Yui didn't budge. We can't give up either. If we stop here we lose everything, and maybe our lives. Shanshan, Tigang and Liang exchanged a look. Something passed between them without a word. Liang turned to me. Chen Yan, looks like you're up. You stepped between us. Are you serious? You'd send a forger out to die? I walked past him. Lightning split the sky above, and behind me, my real weapon began to take shape. My hand closed around the hammer's grip. Purple energy raced along every line carved into its surface. Shanshan raised her staff. Golden light spread across the entire street. Fire, lightning and golden energy crashed into the ghost wave at the same time. Every single one of them burned. Yule looked up, his jaw hanging loose. They're gone, he whispered. Every single one in an instant. I could see it on his face. He was thinking about the old days, leading a full team of professionals, bleeding and fighting just to reach round 8, and now a forger had just erased round 12 by himself. He stared at the fading light across the empty street. Since when are forgers this powerful? Round 13 came. It didn't last. Round 15. Gone even faster. Round 19. Yue had given up counting. He stood off to the side with Tigang, not sure what to do with himself. Shanshan, Tigang, and Liang watched the last spirits fade with easy smiles. Yue's voice cracked. Liang walked up to him. Yu Chenyan doesn't like too many people knowing his real strength. What you saw today, keep it between us. He held up Ye's own sword. He'll upgrade this weapon for you. And you stay quiet. Shanshan and Tigang stepped forward. And if you happen to talk, Shanshan placed both hands together, still smiling. I know a certain technique. Once it hits a body part, her smile got sweeter. That body part shrinks. She looked at him with pure innocence. Why are you staring at me? Lang and Tigang both gave him a thumbs up. The deal was clear. You looked at all 4 of us. His eye twitched. Ruuli, you set me up. They're a pack of wolves. The system banner exploded across the sky. Ghost City mission complete. 25 rounds cleared. You squinted at the message. Why does the system sound so angry? I scratched the back of my head. Maybe I pushed too many rounds. The full results floated in front of me. 25 stones, all materials collected. Not a bad run. You let out a long breath. Fine, fine. Let's get out of here. His eyes hardened. And when we do, we find those 2 traitors. He pulled his sword over his shoulder. If you kids weren't this strong, we'd all be dead right now. I thought it over. Those 2 are almost certainly Zhu Rui's people. We cut off his team at the Vine Manor yesterday. Today was his payback. Liang added his piece. My sister hired 3 treasure hunters for this trip. Zhu Rui's men took them out before we even arrived. And Wang Biao Kuihua. They were bought off long before today. Yu's fists tightened. The Murong family. Those people have no limit. Ling's face went dark. We can't let them walk away from this. I looked at Liang. He looked back. We started walking. The ghost city was behind us, and the real enemy was still ahead. We walked out of the ghost city and found Zhu Rui already waiting. He was all smiles, praising his crew. You may be a strong fighter, he said. But after 3 rounds of ghost attacks alone, he should be finished. He stood at the front with his whole squad behind him. Wang Biao Kuihua and more. We wait right here, he said, grinning. When the mission ends, we clean up what's left. But here we were, Ye Liang and me, walking straight at them with no plan to stop. Zhu Rui's smile froze the moment he spotted Liang. Young Master C is here too. Yue stepped to the front of our group. Scheming against us wasn't enough, Zhu Rui. You brought your whole pack. Zhu Rui looked us over, still grinning. Tough, aren't you? 3 rounds of ghosts and not a scratch. But your energy must be gone by now. His eyes went cold. Why don't you drop your weapons and come lick my shoes? Do that, and maybe I'll let you walk away. Yue shot back without a pause. Me, kneel to you? Not in this life. Zhu Rui's grin came back, colder this time. Then there's nothing to talk about. He crossed his arms. This ghost city, I chose it as your grave. Behind him, Kuihua raised her staff. Green light burned from the crystal at its tip. I watched their fighters carefully. All of them were using high-level skills, the kind you only unlock at level 28. Zhu Ru wasn't here to scare us. He wanted every one of us dead before we left this place. The first blades met, and golden energy burst where they crossed. Yue swung wide, sending a wall of blue force through the entire street. Green power covered him from head to boot. He rose off the ground, sword ready. 2 of Zhu Rui's fighters rushed Yue at once, blades swinging hard. Zhu Rui's confidence cracked, and we were still blocking full-power attacks from level 28 fighters like they were nothing. The system notification lit up the sky for everyone to see. Zhu Rui turned and read it. Something shifted in his face. They weren't being beaten by the ghosts. They were doing the beating. Kuihua turned to him. Boss, do we keep going? His face broke. Are you crazy? Run. Too slow. Liang, Yue and I were already standing in every exit. Liang blocked the gate, sword drawn. Too late for that. Wang Biao's voice shook. Boss, what do we do now? Zhu Rui wiped the sweat off his face. How should I know? Then his eyes locked on me, and real fear set in. Mage, stop him. Lightning tore through the sky above the ghost city. My hammer came down, wrapped in purple fire. The lightning hit the ground and spread in every direction, swallowing everything. When it stopped, Zhu Ru was flat on his face with my boot on his back. Don't kill me. He pressed himself into the stone, arms spread. The Morong family will give you anything, money for life. A guaranteed spot at the best school in the country. Whatever you want. I looked down at him for a long time, saying nothing. Tell Moronglan's 3rd young master to give me back my recommendation spot. Then we'll talk. His head twisted to look up at me. You're the blacksmith from Beijing, Chen Yan. The shock was real. The person he had always ignored was the one standing over him. That's me, I said. But that's not why you're on the ground. I raised the hammer over my head. You tried to kill us. You should have thought about what comes next. Behind me, Tigang looked like he was about to lose his lunch. Shanshan covered her mouth and turned away. I remembered something I was told a long time ago. Showing mercy to your enemy is the same as hurting yourself. Yu walked up. If he didn't die, we would have. Don't think twice about it. Then he knelt beside what was left and started going through Zhu Rui's storage. The man wasted no time. He pulled out a curved golden dagger and held it up to the light. Eyes wide. An epic grade dagger. Drop rate in a level 26 gold mine. 2%. He turned the blade slowly, almost in love with it. Market price is already over 2 million. He was practically dancing. Next came a string of blue crystal beads. This is a floor 3 magic tower reward. He held them up close. Level 6. Rare quality. A crystal necklace. His eyes were shining. He paused and looked at me. You're also taking the entrance exam, right? I nodded. He pointed at Shanshan, Tigang and Liang behind us. Those 3 look like new students. He rubbed his chin. You're more like a soldier who's been fighting for years. Someone just died in front of you, and you didn't even blink. I felt it, I told him. It just doesn't show on my face. I glanced down the empty road. You, grab everything. We'll split it later, we need to move. He nodded. Right. We're carrying way too much treasure now. Lang's eyes were sharp. Other fighters are everywhere. They could come for us at any moment. 2 fighters from another group passed by, still rubbing their arms. That hammer nearly killed us too. The blonde one stared back at our group. Their teammate was lying on the ground behind them, knocked out cold by the lightning. Once we were clear of the ghost city and into open desert, Ye set down a cup. Let's split the loot. Liang stood over the pile of treasure and shook his head. All of this belongs to Chen Yan. Without him, we'd be dead. We would have died at Zhu Rui's hands. Every one of us. You all fought too, I said. We entered this together. We split it evenly. Ling and Shanshan both jumped in at once. No, we can't take this. Shanshan looked up at me. We only survived because of the weapons you upgraded for us. I thought it over, then smiled. Fine, then we'll use these materials to upgrade your weapons even more. You overheard and marched over, sword in hand. So these kids really are using weapons you enhanced. He shoved the blade toward me. Can you look at my level 20 sword too? I checked the stats. White Tiger sword, enhanced once, tear, critical hit, and a basic boost. Nothing special. You tapped his chest plate. I spent a fortune in rare materials on that one upgrade. How is it? He was waiting for praise. I had to be honest with him. Not great. The grade is fine, but everything else is below average. He threw his hands up. This sword was enhanced by Master Guo, the most famous forger in the region. Guo, I knew that name. I still owed him a rare material. I'd have to find time to pay that back. You leaned in. So you can really do this. Give me the materials. I'll bring everything I have. I'll need a proper hammer and a forge, I said. but yes, I can do it. Liang walked over and handed Yue a pair of dark glasses. He slid on his own pair and grinned. Your sword is about to become something else. The forge roared to life. Fire swallowed the blade, burning white and gold. Everyone stumbled back, shielding their eyes. Even through the dark glasses, the light was blinding. When the fire died, the new sword sat in Yue's hands, fresh metal, gems set into the guard, everything glowing. Yu read the stats and nearly dropped it. 2 epic level attributes on one weapon. Then he kept scrolling. A divine tier skill was listed at the bottom. His mouth hung open. Liang and I watched from the side while Yue swung the new sword through the air, grinning like a child with a gift. He spun back to us, teeth showing. Your weapons are all this strong. No wonder fighting monsters is nothing to you. His grin faded into something real. I owe you for this. If I don't pay it back, I don't deserve to call myself a man. He grabbed my hand and pressed a bag of coins into it. This is everything I have. Take it. Liang cut in. How much do 4 upgrades cost? Is 800,000 enough? I pushed the bag back. Keep your money. When I work the forge, I don't charge. Yu turned to face me. Wait, it's actually free? Do you even know how much your forged equipment is worth? He asked. I crossed my arms. I know exactly what it's worth, but the drops I earn from dungeons with upgraded weapons, no amount of money compares. There is one thing I need from you though. Yu rested his sword on his shoulder. Please, you're being too polite with me. Whatever you need, just say it. His grin stretched ear to ear. Zheng Yue never forgets a debt. I need soul crystals, I said. As many as you can farm for me. Upgrading equipment to the next grade burned through soul crystals fast. The problem was, they only dropped from special missions, and there was no way to share them. Yu laughed. Done. You want 1,000, I'll farm 1,000. We met up with Ruoli back at the Shi family building in the city. Yue was already giving her the full report. It went fine, he said. We cleared 25 rounds of missions. He pointed at Liang. Couldn't have done it without his team. Without them, the Murong family would have killed me for sure. Ruoli's eyes narrowed slightly. The forged weapons are that powerful? Then she smiled. If I ever meet the master forger behind them, I'll thank him in person. Ling spread his arms. Sis, does killing Murong's people cause trouble for you? Are we making things worse? Ruoli shook her head. Not at all. The Murong family thinks their 1/12 noble blood gives them the right to push everyone around. She leaned back and crossed her arms. Zhu Rui deserved to die, but the Murong family isn't easy to deal with, she added. Keep what happened to yourselves. Don't spread it around. The survivors won't be stupid enough to go against Cheng Huang. Liang grinned, a flash of the battle crossing his mind. Who'd be dumb enough to talk about it? Oh, one more thing, he said. We want to upgrade our equipment grade. Ruoli glanced sideways. Why the rush? Our weapons are lower level, Liang explained. But the stats are solid, so we want to push the quality higher. He grinned again. I even got the rare materials ready. Ruoli reached over and flicked his forehead. You brat. So that's why you wanted to run the dungeon. This was your plan all along. Ling pulled me into the conversation. Chen Yan and Shan Shan want upgrades too. Old Li and the rest. Everyone wants to raise their gear. You won't say no, will you? Ruoli crossed her arms. They're all your friends. And Chen Yan is Sister Shui's favorite student. Why would I refuse? She turned and walked through the door. Bring everyone. She led us deep underground to a sealed chamber. This is our family forge, she said. The process is simple. Put your materials and the weapon into the furnace, and it upgrades on its own. The forge was something else. A massive stone basin sat in the center, flanked by 3 golden frog statues pouring green fire. Ruoli and I stood next to it. But you'll need to guard it the entire time, she said. If the flames start to weaken, channel your energy into the 3 frog statues. They'll turn your energy into fire and keep the furnace going. The stronger the weapon, the longer it takes. And strange things might happen during the process. Your hammer should take about half an hour. I nodded. Thanks. She stepped back to give me room. I tossed the hammer and materials into the furnace. The whole room flashed purple. The light settled. Part of me wondered how many grades it would climb. Green fire swallowed everything inside and roared upward. Half an hour. Not bad. I could wait that long. Knowing my hammer though, it would probably take longer. In the corner of the room I found an anvil. Might as well use the time to work on something else. I pulled up my skill panel. All 3 talents, Master Hammer, Loot Share and Stat Bonus, sat at level 5 fully maxed. To push them further, I'd need to complete a class change first, so I took the leftover materials and fed them into my armor instead. When the glow faded, a new suit of armor hung in front of me, the giant Banyan Heart armor, enhanced 4 times. I liked the look of it already. The first skill was called 1000 Root Sense. The ancient tree roots inside the armor could detect every plant within 100 meters. Better yet, it also marked any nearby living thing that carried hostile intent. The second skill, Immortal Root, was even more absurd. While I stood still, the armor's roots would dig into the ground and restore 6% of my health every second. I expected strong. I did not expect this. Warm energy pulsed through the new armor as I checked the final ability. Deep Cultivation. After 10 minutes of rooting, the armor would create a barrier that could block 1 killing blow. I read that line again. 1 free life. Just for standing still. My total health now sat at 120,590. The bar stretched across my entire view. With stats like these, who could even tell me apart from a dungeon boss? I glanced at the furnace, still burning steady. Then I checked the armor's ranking. Position 421. If rank 421 was already this ridiculous, what did the sacred armor at rank 69 look like? And what kind of weapon sat at number 1? Across the city, in a mansion lit gold by evening lamps, the Murong patriarch sat rigid in his chair. His voice was ice. 3 days, and you only reached level 8. Not a single dungeon record broken. You're a disgrace. Murong Lan sat on the floor before him. Dad, it's not my fault. Someone was targeting me on purpose. His father didn't blink. Don't give me excuses. The door burst open. The Murong steward rushed in, out of breath. Master, something happened at our forging company. The patriarch turned. Slow down. Speak. Sweat ran down the steward's face. Zhu Rui is dead. Killed in the Eternal Night Dragon dungeon. It was Si Liang's squad, he continued. Part of the Shenghuang organization. Si Ruali runs most of Shenghuang's business. Her brother, Si Liang, is preparing for the national exam. And there's one more name, a boy called Chen Yan. He's been following Liang's team. The patriarch paused. Chen Yan. That name sounds familiar. His face darkened. Isn't that the kid whose guaranteed university spot we took for Lan? He should be long gone by now. Why is he still showing his face? The steward winced. The boy refused to disappear, master. He ignored all of our pressure. He even signed up for the national exam himself. He's probably been tagging along with Xi Liang's team to gain experience. But I've already contacted the Jingbei Education Bureau, the steward added. A thin smile crossed his lips. His records have been erased. Even if he takes the exam, no university will let him in. The patriarch studied his steward for a long moment. Shenghuang has been getting too bold lately. I understand, master. I'll handle it right away, the steward said. One more thing. A 7th ring follower from the Doomsday Church is here. He's requesting a meeting. The patriarch's eyes narrowed. Send him to the secret room. And the Si family, leave them to me. He turned to Murong Lan. That boy Chen Yan is an SSS class job changer. Keep wasting time like this, and someone like him will take your place before you even notice. Murong Lan knelt before his father. I understand, Dad. He stood and turned to the steward, voice flat. If he just died, wouldn't that solve everything? Butler, get my car. Across the city, Ruoli lay on a couch in the Shenghuang building. Chen Yan had been inside the forging room for hours, and she was getting restless. She sat up and checked the time. Over 10 hours had passed, still nothing. She walked into the hallway, phone in hand. The sealed room's safety system hadn't triggered, so at least he wasn't in danger. Then Tigang stepped out, golden staff in hand. I'm fine, Ruoli. Don't worry. He let out a long breath. That really scared me, though. Ruoli crossed her arms. Your beginner weapons came out way too strong. A high-level sign appeared during the forging, she added. Tigang rubbed his forehead. The energy burst through me straight out of the room. Behind one of the sealed doors, light still pulsed. Another weapon was still being forged inside. Tigang stretched his arms. My wounds are completely healed. Ruoli glanced at the glow behind them. Another high-level sign. Shanshan stepped out next, a brand new staff in her hand. Where are Chen Yan and Liang? Still inside, Tigang said. She tilted her head. What grade did your weapon reach? Epic, she said with a smile. Tigang grinned, his was the same. A wave of golden energy exploded down the hallway, hot and blinding. Liang walked through the light, grinning. His sword had jumped from elite grade straight to epic. He held it up for everyone to see, the blade still pulsing with power. Ruoli's hand went to her lips. That golden tree sign, it's one of the rarest that exist. Lengang appeared through a hole in the wall where the sealed door used to be. I kind of broke the room, he said. Then he paused. Wait, Chen Yan still hasn't come out? Ruoli narrowed her eyes. He only had a hammer. Could it actually reach legendary grade? She thought again. No, if it were already legendary, he wouldn't need the furnace at all. He threw everything into the furnace at once, she said. That takes longer and drops the success rate. She turned toward the remaining sealed doors. The risk was real. Teacher Qian's face crossed her mind. Chen Yan was stubborn, and losing his guaranteed university spot had only made him push harder. Ruoli pulled out her phone. Qian's student cannot get hurt on my watch. Her jaw tightened. I think we should open that door. She stared at her phone screen. Still no word from inside. Sis, relax, Lian called from behind. Chen Yan knows what he's doing. He waved Shanshan and Tigang along. Let's go grind experience. We'll check back later. 3 days went by. The city sat bright and calm outside, but inside the Shenghuang building, the tension had not faded. Teacher Qian arrived, worry clear on her face. Chen Yan still isn't out. Ruali stood between the sealed doors. 2 more hours. If he's not out by then, I'm breaking the door down myself, she said. Quan's face went pale beside her. They stood together staring at the sealed rooms. The exam was the day after tomorrow. Nothing could go wrong now. Then Ruali smiled. The energy was calming down. No new signs. He was finally coming out. I stepped into the evening light. Ruali and Teacher Qian were both right there waiting for me. The air outside still crackled with leftover power. Above us, a vision of a storm god holding a hammer hung in a sky full of lightning. Ruoli's eyes were wide. I finally got to see it. Thunder swallowing cloud. Teacher Qian blinked. Thunder swallowing what? A god-level sign, Ruali explained. Recorded in an ancient book. It only happened once before. An ancient forger broke through his limits and opened the heavenly gate. The sun, the moon, and all the stars spun around him, and the thunder swallowed the sky. After the sign faded, the forger vanished from the human world. Only his weapons were left behind. Thank you, Ruali, I said. Without Sheng Huang's furnace, none of this would have happened. She laughed. Kid, I really cannot figure you out. A regular hammer and you turned it into something that shook the whole building. Maybe you've always had that kind of power inside you, she said, looking at me like she was reading a puzzle. Before I could answer, Liang grabbed my arm. Brother, you're finally out. He turned to Ruali with a proud grin. That hammer was forged by the master, Old Du. Ruali nodded slowly. So it really was Old Du's work. Who else could make something that powerful? Liang added, and I kept my mouth shut. After the boys left, Ruali stayed in the hallway thinking. Chen Yan's level was still low, far too low for this kind of result. And yet who else could trigger a sign that powerful? She turned to Teacher Quan. Have you noticed something about Old Du? It feels like he's been training these exam students on purpose. Especially Chen Yan, Ruali said. That weapon sign was beyond anything normal. She looked off to the side. Maybe Old Du chose him. Teacher Qian's eyes lit up. You mean Old Du from Shengyuan University might take Chen Yan as his student? If that's true, she said happily, Chen Yan would face much less trouble in the exam. They walked side by side. Everyone who has met Du Mingrui knows, Ruoli said. He acts like an old child. Brilliant but strange. Qian smiled. Does that put your mind at ease? Even if Chen Yan fails the exam, Ruoli said, his future. Sheng Huang will take care of it. He's a student you care about. That's reason enough for me to help. Teacher Qian squeezed her hand. Thank you, Ruoli. Truly. Actually, ever since Chen Yan lost his guaranteed spot, Qian admitted, I wanted to ask you for help, but I couldn't bring myself to say it. Ruoli shook her head. Since when do you and I need to be polite? That kid never hesitates when it matters. I respect that. Less than 2 days until the exam, Teacher Qian said. They need to raise their strength as much as possible. Her gaze was steady. Make sure they're fully prepared. Liang clapped my shoulder. Don't worry about us, he told the others. He grinned at me. We're hitting dungeons right now. We were already halfway down the hall. Shanshan and Tigang are outside waiting, he said. Ruali and Teacher Qian watched them go. I just hope he passes the exam, Qian said quietly. The Murong family will not go easy on him. Golden light tore through the street as we finished another dungeon clear. Liang stared at my stats. These boosts are insane, Chen Yan. Tigang pushed his glasses up, smiling. If anyone found out about your numbers, no one would dare challenge you. I pulled up my weapon panel. Thunder's Wrath. Dawn Enhancement 5. Strong. But the exam was close, and every minute counted. Then the world broke. Half a block ahead of us collapsed, and green fire swallowed the wreckage. I threw myself sideways as debris flew past. Don't freeze. Get out of the way. Shanshan raised her staff and massive chunks of stone froze in the air above us. She scanned the destruction. This is a monster attack, not an accident. Civilians stumbled through the rubble, dragging each other towards safety. The street behind us was already gone. People were running in every direction. I looked up. Winged creatures filled the sky over the burning city, and for one cold second, I thought the demons had come. But no, the demon invasion wasn't supposed to happen for 3 more years. Every cycle it was always 3 years away. How could it come early? People lay hurt across the broken road. I kept scanning the destruction, looking for the source. Liang and I pushed forward, power building around us. Then I saw the massive thorn vines twisting through the ruins, alive and still growing. Liang stopped cold, his face going hard. The ancient Vine Manor dungeon, he said. The monsters broke out. And there it stood, a tree creature tall as a building, red eyes burning through the smoke, waiting for us. I pulled up its stats. Level 23, over 500,000 HP, and one word that made my blood go cold. Demonized, 20%. Demonized? Shanshan stared at the display. What does that mean? Neither of us had an answer. We'd never seen that word attached to a monster before. Tigang gripped his staff. This monster's stats are completely insane. 500,000 HP, and that's not even counting its defense. Demonized. I knew what that word meant, because I knew the future. In 3 years, every monster in the world would awaken its ancient demon blood. When that happened, their power would grow beyond anything anyone could control. Civilians ran screaming behind me. Was this tree creature the first sign that the timeline had changed? Only 20% of its demon blood was awake, and it was already hundreds of times stronger than any normal dungeon monster. None of that mattered right now. We have to stop it here, I said, before it reaches the city center. Liang turned to me. With just us? This thing is wrong in every way. But people are dying while we stand here. I looked toward the smoke rising over the buildings in the distance. If we let it keep going, this whole district would be destroyed. Then I realized where the creature was heading, the Sheng Huang building. Ruoli and Teacher Qian were still inside. The city guard was already on the ground. Tigang's eyes went wide. They're all level 30 to 40 fighters. Their captain walked up to us, a big man with a shaved head and sharp eyes. Your exam students. I'm Zhang Liang. district captain of the city guard. This situation is too dangerous for students. You need to evacuate now. Before anyone could argue, thick green vines exploded from the road and twisted toward us. A wall of blue energy blasted to life, shaped like a lion's face, blocking everything. Zhang Liang stood behind the shield. Support units, stay back, heal and strengthen everyone. Warriors, follow me. Warriors, with me, he roared. The lion shield held firm against the falling rock and branches above. One of the guard members ran over to us. You kids need to get out of here. This is real combat, he yelled, not a training exercise. Liang looked at me. He was waiting for my answer. We're not leaving. You three, circle back from the left. I'll cut through from the right. We block this thing no matter what. The Shenhuang building was its target. I was sure of it now. Liang grabbed my sleeve as we ran through the alley. Wait. Are you saying, it's been moving toward that building this entire time, I said. I didn't know why the monster wanted Shenhuang, but stopping it came first. Liang's voice cracked. My sister is still in there, and Ruoli too. My teacher is in there too, I called back, already sprinting ahead. I won't let anything happen. Inside the Shenhuang building, Zheng Yue had already drawn his sword. Everyone get behind me. Ruoli looked at him and smiled. She recognized the power in that blade. When did you get this strong, Xiaozhen? She asked. She was grinning. Did you secretly train without telling me? Zheng Yue didn't have time for jokes. Ruoli, I'll explain later. The white tiger's sword in his hand, the one Chen Yan had enhanced, sliced through the vines with ease. But he couldn't tell her that. Not without giving away Chen Yan's secret. Teacher Qian grabbed Ruoli's arm. Be careful, I think this monster has been tracking us. Ruoli's smile vanished. We're trapped in this building. We need to get out now. The vines punched through the walls, and green pods hanging from the branches split open. Poison gas filled the room. Qian choked, covering her mouth. Zheng Yue planted his feet in the green cloud, sword ready. Qidun raised her wand. I've got this. A wave of white light exploded outward, and pushed the poison back. The poison is too strong, Ruoli said, holding Qian steady. Your spell won't last long. Qian knew it. Her barrier was already thinning at the edges. Zheng Yue looked around. The vines had trapped them on every side. It had taken only a few minutes. A monster this big in the city, the guard will come, Ruoli said, trying to keep calm. She pulled Qian close and held her. They just needed to survive long enough. Then a voice cut through the noise. Liang's voice. Sis, we're here to save you. Liang, Tigang and Shanshan broke through the outer vines, energy blazing around them. But Liang's magic power was almost gone. Liang flew at the monster's branches, sword high, green energy screaming around him. Don't you dare touch her. The tree creature answered a roar of fire from its burning chest, shaking the ground. Shanshan poured healing light into the fighters from behind, her staff glowing bright. Her eyes went wide. It's angry, pull back. Liang dodged a vine whip in midair, his shield barely holding. He steadied himself. Then we hit it harder. A guard fighter beside him launched a fireball straight at the monster's face. Another guard dove through the vines, purple energy trailing from his blade, slicing them apart. Zhang Liang caught up, furious. You're insane, exam students fighting a demon-class monster? Liang faced the captain. I know we're being reckless, but my sister is trapped in that building. Zhang Liang stared him down. Even if your sister is inside, this is our job, not yours. Behind them, the monster's vines had already swallowed half the building. Walls cracked, windows gone. Zhang Liang turned to his squad, split into two teams. One provides cover. The other enters the building. Get inside and rescue the survivors, he ordered. Two guards sprinted through the rubble, but the vines kept cutting off every path to the entrance. Inside, Zheng Yue shielded Ruoli and Qian as the walls cracked and the ceiling sagged above them. He pushed forward, but the monster healed faster than he could cut. There was no way out. Ruoli dragged Qian out of the way as the ceiling split. Qian's light spell was almost gone. High above the chaos, a hooded figure stood on top of the tree monster's head, perfectly still, watching everything. He looked out over the burning city, just 20% of its demon blood, and it already has this much power. This world will belong to the Terminus Church. He watched the vines crush the Shenhuang building below and laughed. His cold eyes narrowed through the mask. Die, all of you. I was already moving. Cloak over my face, weapon in hand, running straight at the monster. If they wanted Shenhuang, they had to get through me. Thunder's wrath burned with purple energy as I gripped it tight. Without the enhancement from earlier, I wouldn't have had a chance. I leaped at the tree creature and brought the weapon down on its body with everything I had. Above me, the hooded villain froze. Who's attacking? How is the damage this high? Even with a direct hit, the creature barely slowed. It took the damage and kept moving, too tough, too fast. Then the vines found me. Thorns wrapped around my arms and chest, pulling me into the branches. On the ground, two city guards stared up at the explosion of thunder. That lightning power, it's massive. Whoever that is, they have to be at least level 50, one said. There's nobody like that in the whole northern region. Not a single one, his partner agreed, still shaking. Shanshan, Tigang and Liang looked up toward the vines where their friend had disappeared. They knew exactly who it was. He's badly hurt, Shanshan whispered. Two civilians leaned on each other, bleeding and bruised, staring at the sky. Was that someone from the capital? He's not gonna die, is he? I wasn't dead. The vines crushed in from every side, but green energy surged through my body, keeping me together. Down below, Liang broke into a wide grin. That was close. The city was torn apart below me, but I was still breathing. Golden light ripped through the demon tree from the inside, and the whole thing came apart in a wave of purple fire. Over 1,000,000 experience points hit my system at once. The creature was finally dead. Then everything tilted. My legs buckled, my vision blurred, and the ground rushed up to meet me. Something small pressed into my hand. A candy? I couldn't hold on to the thought before the dark swallowed me whole. I opened my eyes to warm light and soft pillows. Wherever I was, it wasn't a battlefield. A girl was sitting in the chair across from me. "You're awake," she said brightly. I sat up and checked my body. Every wound was healed completely. Someone had taken very good care of me. "I don't think we've met," I said. "What's your name?" "Ye Tong," she said. "I'm a student at Shengyuan University." Then I noticed the other person in the room, a massive old man standing by the window, his back to me. This was a very expensive suite. He turned around with a lollipop in his hand, and yellow eyes locked on mine. "You wore the black robe to hide your real power. Am I wrong?" My blood ran cold. If the memories from my past life were still right, then this man was someone I should not take lightly. "Du Mingrui," he said. "Professor of forging at Shengyuan University. Some people call me the best forger in the country. The greatest forging master alive." And he had seen through every mask I wore. This was very bad. He smiled to himself. "See, I knew this kid would be excited to meet me." He walked over toward Tong and wagged a finger at her. "And you don't push your luck." Then he looked back at me. "Murong Lan stole your guaranteed admission spot. Am I right? How do you know about that?" He held up a glowing red blade, one I had forged myself. "The weapon Gao sent me was excellent. The forger who made it has rare talent." I expected that forger to be Murong Lan, he said. But it wasn't him at all. "The Murong family loves the spotlight. Behind closed doors they do plenty of ugly work." His grin widened. "So I came to the north to investigate. Murong Lan is no forger, but then I found you. What a surprise." He listed everything. The dungeon records I shattered. The gold tier gear I sold at auction. Every single piece of evidence pointed right at you. He aimed a thick finger at my chest. "Black robe, warhammer, thunder power, you killed that demon tree today." His hand gripped my shoulder. "Relax. I'm on your side. But what comes next is important. You need to prove yourself during the exam. Win first place in the northern region." I studied his face. "You're going to arrange a fair fight between me and Murong Lan. And when you beat him," he said, "the Murong family's whole scheme falls apart in front of everyone." "If you already know he cheated," I asked, "why not just remove his name directly?" He let out a heavy sigh. "It's never that simple. The Murong family holds one of 12 noble bloodlines. Their power runs deep. Too many people are tangled up with them. I know what they did to you, but without solid proof, my hands are tied. So your problem," he said, "needs to be solved by you." Tong peeked around the doorframe. "Our family can help. This has nothing to do with you." Du Mingrui barked. She shut her mouth. I stood quietly and let the pieces fall together. He wasn't being cruel. He wanted me to take back what was stolen with my own strength on my own terms. I pressed my fist to my palm and bowed. "Thank you, Professor Du." "Go," he said. "You've been missing too long. People will be worried." At the door, his hand caught my shoulder one last time. "Keep the black robe a secret. If the wrong people find out, your life is in danger." I gave him a small nod and stepped out. Secrets were something I could handle. After the door closed, Ye Tong clapped her hands together. "So he's going to be my junior disciple. Finally someone to climb the fire tower with me." Her eyes were shining. Du Mingrui gave her a flat look. "He's a forger, girl, not a fighter. The fire tower is dangerous. You think a forger can survive that?" Tong raised an eyebrow. "A forger who killed a monster with 500,000 HP. Sure, Grandpa." The streets were worse than I remembered. Cracked buildings on every side, dust still thick in the air. Exam students huddled in the rubble nearby. One of them was lying flat on his back while the others held him steady. Then I heard a voice cutting through the dust. Teacher Qian, calling my name as she searched through the wreckage. She grabbed a guard by the sleeve. "A tall boy, good-looking blue coat, have you seen him?" "Chen Yan." Her voice cracked across the broken street. She turned and saw me. The panic drained right out of her face. "You're okay, thank goodness. Ling and the others told me you came running in to help," she said, still catching her breath. "But you can't just go alone. No matter how strong you are, you should wait for help." Before I could answer, Ruli and Zheng Yue came around the corner. Ling was right behind them. "You scared me half to death," he said. "I thought it was over for you." "What could possibly happen to me?" I said. He grinned and put his hands on his hips. "Yeah, what could happen to you?" "I'll go tell Shan Shan and Tigang," he said, already turning. "They're still out looking for you." Roli folded her arms. "We owe everything to that mysterious person in the black robe. They killed the monster. Without them," she said quietly, "I don't think any of us would be standing here." On the far side of the wreckage, Chief Bai walked the disaster site, with his assistant close behind. The assistant held up a tablet. "This creature is nearly identical to the one from the Wasteland's secret realm. Both were dungeon bosses," he explained, "enhanced by some kind of dark technique. This one was the ancient Vine Manor boss, except someone turned it into a demon." Bai stopped. Then the incident at Ancient Vine Manor a few days ago is connected to today's attack. His expression hardened. If someone planned this, the attack had a purpose. His assistant pointed at the half-collapsed Xinghuang building. The monster went straight for it. That building was the target. Rolly shook her head. Who would come after Xinghuang? We haven't made enemies. And who could control a monster that powerful? Zheng Yue spoke up. The Murong family. They've been fighting Xinghuang for years. Teacher Qian's expression went dark. They've been watching us closely. She turned to me. They probably knew Xinghuang was helping you get ready for the exam. Maybe we should just give it up, she said. The exam isn't worth losing your life. Even without the exam, Ruoli would still hire you as a forger, right here at Xinghuang. She gave me a warm smile. A safe life, a comfortable one. Ruoli turned to the side. If the Murong family tries anything, Xinghuang will stand behind you. Don't worry about that. But fighting them head-on is a losing game, she added. Qian nodded beside her. Ruoli faced me. And even if you do enter the exam, passing the combat test as a forger would be nearly impossible. I've made my decision, I said. I'm taking the exam. Let the Murong family throw whatever they have at me. Nearby, Zheng Yue turned to Bai's assistant. Have we figured out who the black-robed fighter is? The assistant pulled up his tablet for Chief Bai. The guards managed to get a photo during the fight. The image was blurry, just a dark figure from behind, swinging a warhammer. No face, no details. Chief Bai walked over to where Ruoli stood. She looked surprised to see him there in person. He looked across the destruction without a word. This was a man who did not waste time. I caught the assistant's eyes moving between his tablet and me. That look lasted a second too long. Bai turned to Ruoli. This disaster hit your company hard. I'm sorry it happened. The city will provide proper compensation, he said. Ruoli waved it off gracefully. Disasters are hard to predict. Don't worry about it. Then the assistant stepped forward. Chief Bai, I have a request. He held up a black cloak. I'd like someone to try this on. It might help us figure out who the black-robed fighter was. He held it toward me. We need to compare the body shape with the photo. I pointed at myself. You want me to wear it? The black cloak caught the wind as I pulled it over my shoulders. Familiar weight. I kept my face perfectly calm. Bai's assistant looked at me with his mouth open. The body shape, the weapon, it all matched. Teacher Qian turned to stare at me in the cloak. Could Chen Yan really be the one who killed the demon? Her eyes grew wide. The idea was taking shape in her head. I stood there and said nothing. A forger who fights monsters, nobody would believe that. Bai leaned toward his assistant. The black-robed fighter was at least level 50. At least 50, he repeated. His eyes narrowed like he was solving a puzzle. Then he waved his hand. Enough. Record the data, we still have work to do. The assistant straightened up and started tapping on his tablet. Teacher Qian pressed a finger to her temple. It can't be Chen Yan. Everyone knows forgers have no combat power. She was talking herself out of it. The idea of a forger who could fight didn't fit her world. We said goodbye to Bai and walked away through the rubble. Standing in front of that whole crowd wearing this disguise, I had to admit, the rush was real. Teacher Qian put her hands on her hips. The exam is tomorrow. Her smile was warm, but her voice left no room for argument. I know, I said, scratching the back of my head. I'll go rest. A glowing number floated above me, level 20. I had hit the cap. A system window appeared. At level 20, I needed to complete a class change quest before I could go higher. The instructions were simple: find a mentor at the class change temple, accept the quest, finish it to unlock the next stage. I stepped through the door of my apartment. The class change could wait until after the exam. The room was dark and quiet. Night had settled in while I was gone. I clenched my fist. 6 purple gems sat on the bed beside me. Legendary demon tree hearts. The best material for upgrading talent skills. 12 alchemy potions. I could feel the grin spreading across my face. I held one up to the light and turned it slowly. Alchemists needed these to craft almost anything. Epic grade, 200,000 each on the market. And I had 12 of them. Then came the fungal sacks, 30 of them, epic grade, scattered across my bed like green balls. Perfect for making small bombs. I fell back onto the pillows and spread my arms wide. One monster gave me all of this. I even reached level 20 right before the exam, mostly thanks to the drop sharing system. My leveling speed had been insane. I laughed out loud at the thought of it. Later that night, I picked up my phone and opened the class group chat. Someone had already posted. The black-robed fighter was so cool. I scrolled through the messages with a small smile. They had no idea who they were praising. One of them had taken a photo, the black-robed figure swinging a hammer at the demon tree with lightning crashing down. Then someone jumped in to brag. I'm jealous of you guys taking the exam. I'm already accepted at Magic Capital University. I kept reading, very proud of himself, this one. Someone pushed back hard. Chen Yan was accepted the same way, but his spot was stolen. What are you showing off about? My spot, taken by the Murong family. The old anger was still there, sitting quiet in my chest. The guy kept going. You ordinary people just don't understand. I don't need to take the exam, and it feels amazing, he wrote. The kind of person who never knows when to stop. Another classmate stepped in. Chen Yan must be feeling terrible right now. Can you stop being so heartless? I looked at the screen. They thought I was hurting, not even close. The first guy replied. It's not like I'm the one who stole his spot. Why get mad at me? Some people just never read the room. His last message was the best part. If he's so great, let him pass the exam on his own. That was exactly what I planned to do. I closed my eyes and let the phone rest against my chest. Tomorrow would be interesting. Across the city, a masked figure stood in a room full of marble and gold. I didn't expect a black-robed fighter to appear, he told the Morong patriarch. The patriarch sat with his legs crossed, looking down at his guest. So this is the best your people can do. You can't even handle one small family, he said, his voice cold. Why should I trust you? The masked figure's eyes burned behind his hood. Si Liang and Chen Yan will both be at the exam tomorrow. I will make them pay. The patriarch stood and looked down at him. I hope so.